Like,
Dad, you are my bitch lover!
Oh, no way. Oh my god! No way! Oh my god!
All right, let's get started. Welcome, everybody, to episode 140 of 1 million of the Serial Chillers podcast. You may notice the numbering is going a little differently. I realize since we're doing full research episodes on the in-betweens, I'm just going to start giving those numbers too. So this is 140, canonically. Now, starting now, this is what that is. So as always, I ask, how goes it, Hella Greg?
A little confused about the numbering system, but other than that, I'm all right.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, so the game shows are an episode, and they get a number. And the in-between shows are now an episode, so they will also be getting numbers.
Okay.
So this will be 140. Next week's in-between show that everybody hears will be 141, you know, so.
I'm pretty
the game
sure
shows will
looking at the
be
rules
the
here-
evens.
Looking at the rules here, you have final decision, so.
Yeah, it's true. If you guys see, we have a decree there.
yeah, it's like a whole ass list.
I'd just like to clear up that Greg did write the list. So, also, I think we added one last week.
Yeah, YouTube comments will be turned off, yeah.
Shall always remain off.
You guys need a plaque hanging on the wall.
Yeah, I'm trying to get
I
the
like
official list down before we commit to something like that. The idea is to get 10 and put them on stone tablets and then just kind of make everybody follow the
Just
rules.
chisel them out.
Yeah.
One by
I think
one.
when we get there, we're going to call them commandments.
That sounds great.
So I'm here with a couple of guests. You guys have heard a little bit of them because we've been getting very sidetracked. That means we're having fun, and we'll get to them shortly. But first, let me give you a little bit of insight about the show, references and citations, Wikipedia, as always, Britannica.com, History.com. Greg, you'll find this controversial, FBI.gov,
Propaganda.
ThoughtCo.com, and two different documentaries. I'll give you their subtitles because both of them have the same main title, and I don't want to give away who this is. First one is called Outlaws to the End, and the second one is A Story of Love and Death. Make sure you check out our Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threadless Store, Patreon to donate. You can also donate one time if you'd like. Join the Discord to hang out with us. Send us cool drugs and explosives at P.O. Box 1229, Clovis, California 93613. SerialChillersPod.com for all of that information. I'm breezing through it, guys, because fuck it.
And lonelyfanswith2z's.com.
Yeah, you guys know where it is. You guys know how it works these days. And just go to SerialChillersPod.com if you don't. It's all fucking there. So, let's talk about some guests real quick. We're going to welcome back a guest from last season. She brought us amazing crochet octopus last time she was there. Mine sits on the dashboard of my car, and I squeeze it when I'm anxious. Also, she brought Puppy Dog. I think the only time we've had a non-Jessie dog on the show. Welcome back, Paige.
Hello.
It's good to have you. Thank
Very
you for being here.
excited. Thank you.
I'm excited too, and I know it. Like I said, you always know it's going to be fun when you're like, "Oh, we've been sitting here for 22 minutes and we haven't got anything done yet."
No.
All right.
Chilling. Serial
and
chillers.
for the first time on the show, Paige brought her brother, and it's not the first time we'll have some sibling rivalry going on even this season. Welcome into the studio, Aiden.
Hi, how are y'all?
Thanks for being here.
Great. Very good. Yeah, dude, thank you so much. I know it's like a pretty new thing. When I hit Paige up, I asked her if she wanted to have Danielle, and she's like, "Oh, she moved away."
Yeah,
She
she
left
left us.
And I was like, "Shit." And I was like, "Well, if you want to try to convince some other human being that we're not total fucking weirdos, and come onto the show with us."
He's my
And
only
she was
other
like, "Hey,
option.
I was just gonna
Can't be
say, like
weirder than
5
Paige.
minutes later, she's like, "My brother's in." So I was like, "All right, good. It's in the blood."
Yeah.
So, welcome, you guys. Most of you guys are going to know how the show works. Let me explain it for anybody that doesn't. Each week, we sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer, something true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious. If something isn't clear, be sure to chime in, because if you have questions about questions, be sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you've never asked questions. Are there any questions?
No.
Did you say we? Each week
Yeah.
we sit down. Aw.
Oh, how sweet.
Thanks, man.
I think I've done it before.
Have you? I don't
But
fucking pay attention.
Well, now
I'm glad
he
you noticed
realizes.
it this time, sweetheart. If I were there, I'd take the back of my hand and I'd rub it down your cheek gently.
Oh.
Well, if there are no questions, and yes, I did say we, then welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. It's all good. Today's episode, tell me, have the two of you heard of Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow?
Yeah.
More famously known as a pair as Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes.
Yes. Who
All right,
hasn't?
Okay.
Have you lived under a rock?
Exactly. Am I right? Come on, weren't you around for the crime spree of the 1930s?
I know I was.
I was.
Spooky.
You know, I would have liked to have waited until the 100th anniversary, but you know, it's 11 years away, and if we're still hanging on, then we'll revisit.
We'll come back with our walkers.
Damn.
Gonna put it in our
100 years.
calendars.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Serial Please Don't Let Us Die podcast.
We all just die while we were recording.
Oh.
That would
Okay.
be. I mean, if we had somebody to post it, that would be a solid episode.
Honestly, yeah.
Okay, guys, get your cards ready, because
Yep.
question number 1: in what year was Clyde Barrow born?
Oh, Jesus.
What was in the...
Might have already given you a little hint if you were paying attention.
Oh, I can't look. Aiden, I can't look at your answer.
We were talking. We've talked about like solid names before.
Clyde
And-
Barrow.
Yeah, but he's
Want
just.
to know his middle
I don't know
name?
how
Yes.
old they were.
his. Okay, so in what year was Clyde Chestnut Barrow born?
Chestnut?
Chessie.
It's just such a good name. All right, you got your answers.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's see what you got.
I
show you.
said 1901.
Oh, I said 1903.
1903.
Yeah.
Okay. 1903 and
All right.
1901.
Give Aiden 250 points. I'll actually give it. I got
Hey.
it over here. Because Clyde Barrow was born. You know what's funny is I didn't even put the date on my page. I gotta look it up real quick. March 24th, 1909.
He's a Pisces.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
He's a Pisces man.
Use that to help
Okay,
you
so-
answer
Not
some
all
of the
bad.
questions.
Paige, tell us what that means.
We're great people. Everyone
My
loves
brother's
us.
a Pisces man.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay, all right.
I can do no wrong.
I okay.
Well,
Personally, I love Pisces. They're my favorite. My son's a Pisces. He is a Pisces.
okay,
man.
and you know, he said, you know, Aiden said that, you know, everybody loves them. Clyde Barrow, like famously known for his charm and his way of like winning people over. So
yeah, they're
Well, there
very
you go.
Yeah.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
Literally.
right on the money. So
They're very
we're
charming.
gonna step into the world of Clyde Chestnut Barrow, a man whose life was anything but ordinary. Born into humble farming family in Ellis County, Texas, Clyde faced hardships and poverty from a young age. But as we know, Clyde is destined for something greater and something that would make his name known far and wide, literally worldwide, which is not easy in the early 1900s. Growing up in the early 1900s, Clyde witnessed the mass migration of families from rural areas to the bustling city of Dallas. His own family joined the wave of change, settling in the urban slum of West Dallas. So now, I don't believe West Dallas is an urban slum. I believe it's a very expensive place to live. I haven't verified that. I'm just guessing. But during the time, West Dallas considered basically a slum city, and life was tough for the Barrows even in the slums, so much so that they had to live under their wagon until they could afford a tent to live in. So,
Bro, their wagon?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's 1915.
Is this like the
I-
Dust Bowl?
Yeah, you have to. Dust Bowl is early 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
But
No, late
so this is a little
Yeah, it was
earlier
like the
than
late
Dust
20s,
Bowl.
wasn't it?
Okay, so this is a little earlier than Dust Bowl, but still, there's a lot happening in Texas that's getting a lot of people to move from rural to city, and they are living under their wagon. And the way that I heard it described in one documentary was that Clyde Barrow was basically like the kid you see is like always covered in mud.
Oh, like
Like he's
Pigpen.
just
Yeah,
like,
Pigpen.
yeah, he's just kind of dirty always. So
If you don't know a kid like that, you
if
are
you're picturing
that
a
kid.
young if you're picturing a young Clyde right now, I'm just thinking of my youngest kid who's constantly got like a dirt mustache. um, okay. Life was tough for the Barrows. They lived under the fucking wagon. So Clyde, like, he faced some adversity in his early life.
Just live in
his-
the wagon, though. That's
His well, like it's full of your shit.
Yeah, they have all their,
everything you own is
stuff in it.
inside. So you sleep under, buddy.
They're tall,
Um,
so I guess there'd be
big
enough
wooden
room.
wheels and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The terry cloth.
People dying of dysentery.
Yeah.
So we just know that a lot of adversity is faced by Clyde from an early age. At the age of 17, he had his first brush with the law. It all started with a rental car that he failed to return on time. And when police confronted him, he did what most young men would do with a rebellious streak in them. He ran.
A rental
Yeah, I
car?
was gonna say they did that back then.
Yeah. What?
I guess Clyde Barrow might be one of the reasons the age is 25 now, because at 17 he rented it and took off with it.
Shit.
So
Okay.
17 would be 17 would be
so wild.
1926.
Jalopy.
I think we're a little more into like, vehicles being a thing. 1926
Well,
is
like
Peaky
the Malays
Blinders
and
was
stuff.
like, I think.
Cops chasing him. They're
In
like,
the
hold on, we'll
30s.
just catch him when he pulls over so he can crank start it again.
No,
Yeah,
you just-
Like, how
exactly.
fast are we really going here?
So this is just the beginning of a series of run-ins with the law. Question number 2. Which of these ridiculous crimes was Clyde actually in trouble for during his late teens? Is it A, theft of wigs, B, arson of store mannequins, C, selling illegal crops, or D, possession of stolen turkeys?
Yo, selling
said-
illegal crops sounds pretty groovy, if I'm being honest.
No, yeah, I was gonna say
I'm talking
crops.
about the turkeys, though.
I
Theft
like
of
the
wigs,
Turkeys.
arson of store mannequins, selling illegal crops, or possession of stolen turkeys. I hope you find all of these crimes sufficiently silly.
They all seem like
Mm-hmm,
laws that you would see on those websites that talk about goofy laws in states where they're like, you can't eat
In
ice
Indiana, it's illegal to burn store
Or
mannequins on a
SpongeBob,
Sunday.
it's
Yeah.
illegal to lick doorknobs. Isn't that what on SpongeBob?
cream and
On
ducks,
Mars. Don't lick doorknobs on Mars.
yeah,
or something
it's
like
illegal.
that.
ducks
Don't.
must wear pants. What do you know? Ducks have to wear pants. Read the other one, the
Shit's
non-duck
evil.
one.
All right, what do you guys got?
I'm gonna go with arson of the mannequins, Jeffrey Dahmer style.
I'm gonna go with theft of wigs.
Ooh, theft of wigs
Theft
and
of
arson
wigs.
of store mannequins.
Snatched.
Arson of mannequins. I would say that Paige. We always tell people here to go with their guts. His list of charges would be long, and including a charge for possession of stolen turkeys, alongside his
that.
brother Buck.
Buck.
Buck Barrow.
Yeah, so
Wait,
yeah,
what was Buck's middle name? Can we
I
get a
was
middle
just
name
gonna
on
say,
Buck?
this is like Buck Oaknut Barrow.
Yeah, Buck Walnut
Buck
Barrow.
Hazelnut
Nut.
Barrow.
And Clyde Chestnut.
Slay.
Yeah, Buck Brazil Nut Barrow.
They just
So
looked it up and were like, that's the name.
this was, we're talking about like a fairly innocent, silly.
Oh man, his name was Mark Ivan.
Mark Ivan when he went by Buck,
Yeah, Mark
Why?
Ivan Buck Barrow.
because Buck Barrow sounds way cooler than Mark Ivan.
Yeah, what a bummer.
Should have never looked it up. It's like they say, never
Oh
meet your
my
heroes.
God.
Never
Yeah.
look up people's
A
names.
little bit.
I was trying to draw a horse, but it doesn't look like
Oh,
a
it's like a
horse
hot dog.
anymore.
Horses are hard to draw. I've learned that drawing
They
with Boston.
really are.
They got weird knees. So this would be pretty tame for a while until he found himself in the business of cracking safes, robbing stores, and stealing cars. Fuck renting it. I could just go out and steal it. It was during this time that he crossed paths with a young woman named Bonnie Parker. This woman, as we all know, would eventually become the love of his life. Their romance was intense, but it was cut short when Clyde was arrested once again. This time it was for auto theft. He was sent to Eastham Prison Farm, a place that would forever change his life. Determined to escape the harsh realities of prison, Clyde hatched a plan with Bonnie's help. Basically, Bonnie was very trusted by the prison guards. She was a young, innocent woman. She went many times with no trouble. And then the second to last time, she smuggled in a weapon for Clyde. Clyde was, with the help of the weapon, managed to break free, but his freedom was short-lived. He was recaptured and sent back to prison. Life behind bars, pretty brutal for Clyde. One reason a lot of people might cite is Clyde, for being as intimidating as he seems, was like 5'6", 140. So, like, not a very large man was Clyde. He was said to have endured repeated sexual assaults in his stay in prison, but he was, again, like, very resilient, not to be broken. In a moment of sheer desperation, he found, like, I don't know if it was like a piece of conduit or a piece of rebar, basically stashed it away in a prison shower, invited the guy who had been sexually assaulting him to the showers, basically like making it seem like, all right, fuck it, you win, you know, let me take you back in here. And when he got in there, he killed the guy.
Hell yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Justified.
It was like a
Solid
pretty
move.
gruesome act. And somebody else who was in the prison basically like admired Clyde for it and took the rap for it.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, like it was
Who
like a
killed this
lifer
guy?
already.
Clyde's just standing there all naked, bloody, and wet
like,
in the
the cigar in
shower,
his
and
hand.
yeah, with a pipe in his hand, and this other guy's like, "Yo, that was me."
Prison
Yeah.
justice.
Get a little crush.
Tim the murderer just said, "Hey guys, that was actually me." Clyde, what? I know I'd splattered over onto Clyde. I didn't mean to do that.
It all got
but,
onto
you
him,
know.
but I didn't.
But Clyde does get his first like real taste of revenge, which he seems to have enjoyed.
I get it.
He's also
Only thing better than
for-
revenge is vengeance.
for his justice is pretty good too. I like vigilante tactics. So, for obviously his initial crimes and then escaping and being recaught, Clyde is due to likely be up for some very backbreaking labor. This is the 1930s. This is not about not that America is real good even now about like using prison for rehabilitation, but in the 1930s it was definitely like, oh no, you're a slave now. And if you noticed, like I said, the prison he went to is called Eastham Prison Farm. They definitely had some like backbreaking labor. So basically, to avoid that, Clyde basically convinced somebody, another inmate, to cut off a couple of his toes.
Oh.
Oh.
Did he get to pick which ones, or was it a surprise?
I don't even know which ones they are. I didn't look it up anymore because I was like, what a fucking asshole.
Because
Just
I'm
work,
pretty sure if you
little
keep
bastard.
like if you keep the outer two and then the middle one, you'll be okay.
Yeah, because I don't
That's
think you can
balance.
have
Yeah.
not
I think
have
you
a
can
big
lose
toe.
your pinky though. I think you can lose your pinky toe.
Probably.
I feel like you could, but like,
I think the
feel
pinky
like if
toe
I
is
did, I'd
basically vestigial at this point.
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah, it's
walk
just
in
a
small
nub.
circles.
Your big toe, you're fucked though.
Yeah.
Because you.
It would be
walk.
two from the same foot. I think that's what he had. Two
I
from the
wouldn't
same
want
foot.
to.
Hopefully the smallest two.
I wouldn't want to miss the pointer toe either, because then I couldn't wear flip flops.
My pointer toe is hella long, so.
It's like an alien.
Oh, you can just take a little off the end and
Just
you'd be
like,
all right.
yeah, we can even it out.
And then you don't have to clip or paint that toenail anymore.
It's just
Um,
fun.
So yeah, like look, he wants to get out of labor, you know. Some people say like, "Oh, I can't be drafted into the war. I've got the flat feet." And then some people are like, "Hey, I can't do prison work. I don't have toes." Basically, Clyde's going to have a little bit of a limp his entire life because of this. But little did he know, his mother had basically been working tirelessly behind the scenes to secure his release.
That would have been helpful information before losing your toes. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's kind of the thing, you know. She couldn't like stop in and tell him. She couldn't call into the
Yeah.
prison and be like, "Oh, hey, you know, I'm working on it. This is 1931 or whatever." Just like, "All right, shit, I'm chopping my toes off." And she's like, "I'm working on it, Clyde, my boy."
You dumbass.
send
Why'd
a
you take
carrier
your
pigeon.
toes?
Like,
A turkey. No, use the turkeys that
Yes,
he's been
use
smuggling.
the turkeys.
You just see her chucking a turkey over the fence.
With a note tied to its leg says for Clyde.
They're just up in the tower going, "We see you."
Hey,
No, you don't.
you with the turkey and the note. Get out of here.
I don't know if you guys have ever watched Disenchantment.
Yes.
They have carrier turkeys on that show.
there are.
Yeah, they use the
remember
turkeys.
So, against all odds, Clyde's mom had successfully petitioned for his freedom, and just 6 days after his intentional injury, he was set free.
I'd be so pissed.
Just wait, man.
In a miraculous turn of events, he would be out of prison, but he would also be missing a couple of toes. So obviously, like a moment in his life that changed him. His time was spent in prison had taken its toll. Like, he had been sexually assaulted. He had now committed murder. He had gone in like a pretty petty crime, lighthearted kid, and he had emerged basically a hard criminal.
What?
His sister Marie noticed the transformation and couldn't help but remark, quote, "Something awful sure must have happened to him in prison because he wasn't the same when he got out." Even fellow inmates noticed the change in Barrow. Ralph Foltz, who had witnessed his transformation firsthand, described him as going from a schoolboy to a rattlesnake.
Oh,
What?
Like an Animorphs book.
Sweet. That'd be a sweet cover. I will say, too, I should mention that, like, we know that there's, like, the Barrow gang, the Clyde Barrow gang. They were, you know, a lot of the Barrow gang history is left out because this shit would be 7 hours long if we did all of that. So we're focusing on Bonnie and Clyde here. So if you want to get on the YouTube comments and be like, you know, you left this out of the story, yeah, we know. If you're using
Can't
the show
do
for
that.
research,
Comments are turned
Oh,
off.
yeah,
yeah, that's a
Rule
new
number
rule.
7.
Also, Greg has hockey tonight, y'all. What the fuck? We don't have time for this.
Yeah.
so
Deal with it.
got to do that hockey. So prison had unleashed a beast within him. In his post-Eastham career, Barrow wasted no time in making a name for himself. He turned to robbing grocery stores and gas stations. Basically, at this time, he was going so hard that the numbers he put up may have surpassed the numbers of bank robberies attributed to him when he joined the infamous Barrow gang. I should say created the infamous Barrow
I was
gang.
just going to say, can you, like that, what a lucky coincidence that he found a gang that had his last name. But I feel like that's not a great, like, branding tool because... I mean, I get it if you're like the Jimi Hendrix and the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Yeah.
But like, I probably wouldn't put my name on my gang that
I wonder if
murders
he
people.
like. What if he did it the Chestnut Gang?
See that? I feel like even that's a little
The
too
Nutty
close.
Well, I will say that the Barrow
Yeah,
gang consisted
Nutty
of he
Boys.
and his brother. So it was both he and his brother, and I think it was them being like, "Well, there's two Barrows, so it's the Barrow gang." See,
See?
and that's
Like,
how I imagine.
Hey, I get it, dude. Van Halen. Like, I get it. But
Easy homework.
So, and here's the thing too: is like when I think of like bank robbers or like robbers, I think like stick them up like a pistol every time.
no.
Tommy gun.
Yeah,
Peaky
Tommy Gun's
Blinders.
pretty good. That feels like pretty early 20s though. But so basically, Clyde's favorite was the M1918 Browning automatic rifle, which is a fully or semi-automatic. The BAR, you'll see it referred to a lot, is a fully or semi-automatic 30-06.
Damn.
A formidable firearm that struck fear into the heart of anybody who saw it. There was a lot more to Barrow's criminal pursuits than just a desire for fame or fortune. According to author John Neal Phillips, his ultimate goal in life was to seek revenge against the Texas prison system. The abuses he had endured during his time behind bars had fueled a burning rage within him, a thirst for justice that could only be quenched through his criminal exploits. Barrow's story is one of resilience, transformation, and a relentless pursuit of retribution. It is a tale that captivates and intrigues, leaving us to ponder the depths of human nature and the powers of its circumstance. Listen, Clyde Barrow, a very intimidating, very charming, very over-the-top individual. We're going to learn a lot more about him. But before we do, let's learn a little bit about the early life of question number 3. In what year was Bonnie Parker born?
Bon Bon, when were you born?
Yeah, Bon Bon,
Bon Bon.
give us the answer.
I'm gonna go with 1906.
I went with 1915.
Aiden's got it.
Paige is going to get the
Oh.
points
Oh.
because Bon Bon was
Bon.
only about a year younger than Clyde Barrow and born in 1910.
1910. Okay.
What's
Not
a
two.
what's a score check? Just
250 to 250
Oh,
okay.
after
job.
3 questions. So we're going to look at the life of Bonnie Elizabeth Parker, far more, I would say, traditional name, Clyde Chestnut Barrow. A woman whose life was filled with adventure, love, and tragedy. Born in the small town of Rowena, Texas in 1910, Bonnie was the second of 3 children. Her father, Charles Robert Parker, was a hard-working bricklayer who tragically passed away when Bonnie was a young child. Left to raise her children alone, Bonnie's mother, Emma Parker, moved the family to Cement City, a bustling industrial suburb in West Dallas. Y'all remember where Clyde moved?
West.
Slums of
Dallas.
West Dallas. Oh, in West Dallas, born and raised. So, yeah, okay. As Bonnie grew into adulthood, she discovered a passion for writing poetry. Her words flowed effortlessly onto the page, capturing the essence of her emotions. She wrote poems such as The Story of Suicidal Sal and The Trail's End, later known as The Story of Bonnie and Clyde. Showcased Bonnie's talents and creativity. Basically, like, these are her. When people see Bonnie Parker poems, these are the ones that you see.
What month was she born? I want to know her sign.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Oh, I'm on it.
I went vague here. Okay, Greg's got that.
We got to see if they're compatible.
I wanna know her
They
sign.
died for each other. Like,
That doesn't mean shit.
Some Romeo and Juliet shit right here, dog. So Bonnie's life is going to take an unexpected turn when she meets a boy named not Clyde Chestnut Barrow, but Roy Thornton during her high school years.
October
Love
1st.
blossomed between them.
oh, she's a Libra. Oh, good God.
Oh,
Are those bad signs for each other?
I don't know the compatibility. I just know Libras.
I gotta go to
There's a lot of Libras.
Let me go
I know
to my,
nothing
my,
about it.
my book here. Hold on.
Yeah, catch us up. You let us know. So, a love blossomed between Roy and Bonnie in their high school years, and she decided to drop out and marry him at just the age of 16. On September 25th, 1926, just days before Bonnie's 16th birthday, they exchanged vows. She was actually only 15. However, their marriage was far from perfect. Thornton's frequent absences and brushes with the law cast a shadow over their relationship. Eventually, their paths diverged, and they never saw each other again after January of 1929. I also learned that she likes bad boys. You know what I'm saying?
She's got a type.
Why do good girls?
That's her type.
Yo. Oh my gosh. Okay. Despite their separation, Bonnie continued to wear the wedding ring Thornton had given her. It was a symbol of their tumultuous love story. Tragically, Thornton's life came to an end while attempting to escape from the Huntsville State Prison on October 3rd, 1937. Yeah, his life was taken. Don't be escaping prison, because guess what they do? They shoot a motherfucker!
I mean, I can just say that Clyde got out of prison.
It's true. It's true. He'll do it again, too.
So
After parting ways with Thornton, Bonnie returned to her mother's home in Dallas. Question number 4. Job did Bonnie take when she returned to Dallas? Was she A, a waitress, B, a librarian, C, a secretary, or D, a lunch lady? How was their compatibility, Paige?
did you guess waitress before he said that?
I don't know.
Because
I think you did
you
say
said waitress before he read that out. The only reason I ask is because we don't do this often, but I'm trying to make it happen more. We used to have it where you could like stab at questions, and if you answer before you get the multiple choice, it's worth more.
Okay.
You-
I'll go with that.
yeah, because he totally said waitress before you read those
I
out.
heard
So
you say something.
I'll be willing to give 500 points for that stab.
Okay.
okay,
Cool.
double points.
Okay.
I like that. So yeah, hang on to that. I don't know if that's the case or not, but
I was going to say, if it's correct,
yeah, if it's correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
but it
But-
is one of the options.
The compatibility, it says like Pisces wants like someone slow and Libra wants someone like crazy.
Libras are usually crazy, and Pisces are very
But I don't
slow
like. I don't know. They're both kind of like crazy. So
I mean,
in our own ways.
I mean, I didn't read like all into it. There's probably more, but yeah. It sounds like they're good.
Okay.
solid
Okay.
relationship.
Yeah.
All right, Paige, did you want to go with waitress, librarian, secretary, or school lunch lady?
I'm gonna go with librarian.
Librarian. We're going to give Aiden 500
Good
points
job.
because she did find work once she moved back home to Dallas as a waitress.
Good job.
Okay.
Bonnie the waitress.
Yeah.
She worked like a lot. It was like the classic diner situation, constantly working doubles, serving customers day in and out. Among her regulars was a postal worker named Ted Hinton. Little did Bonnie know that their paths would intertwine once again in a way she could have never imagined. Hinton joined the Dallas County Sheriff's Department in 1932 and eventually became a member of the posse that would bring Bonnie and Clyde's notorious crime spree to an end.
Okay, Ted. Look at him.
Yeah, Ted.
Serving justice.
Just after
Yeah.
after everything's all said and done, he's like, and you always fucked up my eggs.
Your
I
coffee
said
tastes
over
like
medium.
shit.
This is over hard. Oh man! So the story of Bonnie and Clyde's first encounter. Oh, sorry, no, I missed part here. In the midst of her turbulent life, Bonnie always sought solace in writing. So Bonnie, there's almost a written history of Bonnie Parker's life because she was constantly, basically, writing in her diary at the end of every day. So you have notebooks upon notebooks that we can look back on. And at the age of 18, she kept a diary, pouring her heart into her writing and poetry. The first time Bonnie and Clyde met is a story that's been told many times. The most credible version is apparently one that took place in a chilly January evening of 1930.
I thought you were going to say in a Chili's.
He's like, hey, you
We
ever
had both ordered the baby back ribs and
I'm sorry.
margaritas.
you ever had a mozzarella stick? She's like, no, this is 1931 or
Sorry.
whatever. Fucking,
I'm trying to fucking set the tone,
I'm
Paige.
sorry.
It was a
I'm
chilly
so
January evening in 1930.
Oh my god.
Are you hungry? You're supposed to eat before you come
We're
here.
going to Chili's after this.
I want a chicken fried steak.
that sounds dope.
Oh, sorry. Continue. Sorry.
Bonnie was just 19 years old and out of work, staying with a friend who had broken her arm. So Bonnie was helping out. Oh, your arm's broken? I got you. Clyde
I
was
thought
just
you meant
20
the
at
friend
time.
broke her arm.
me
Like the
too.
friend was like, you want to leave? No. Bam. Now you have to stay.
Well, I'm not a great writer, Greg, so I could see why that would come across that way. Clyde was 20 at the time, and he had dropped by the house of a friend of his, and that's when he saw Bonnie for the first time. His friend just so happened to be a person who had broken their arm. Say what? Bonnie was in the kitchen making hot chocolate, and she saw him, and he claimed that he was, quote, immediately smitten.
Oh.
It's not hard to see why. Bonnie was a beautiful young woman with a spark in her eye and a quick wit, according to many. Clyde was a charming rogue with a, quote, devil-may-care attitude and
Pisces.
a dangerous edge. Yeah. That Pisces life?
No.
They were both drawn to each other like moths to a flame, and from that moment on, basically they're going to be inseparable. Some historians believe that Bonnie joined Clyde because she was in love with him, and it's easy to see why, because, charming guy, good-looking dude, seems to have his shit together, whatever, prison's,
Does she know he
tough,
doesn't
like,
have some
people just get-
toes?
Well, maybe she's into
wonder.
that.
She said, I like those toes, babe.
She's like, do you think you could even it up on the other side?
She, how do you walk with two limps?
He's like, well, I actually, you know what my middle name
Walks like
is?
the
I
penguin.
just replaced my toe with chestnuts. I got 2 chestnut toes. Hope you like that. In the winter, I like to roast them over an open fire. It's a little joke I do.
Bonnie's a freak.
So together they would embark on a life of crime, robbing banks and eluding the law at every turn. It's not always as glamorous as some people think it may be, but they were always together. They knew early on that their days were basically numbered, but they didn't care. They were in love, and they were living their life to the fullest.
Good for them.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking sweet, guys. Besides the murdering people thing,
Mm-hmm. I wish we could just
It's-
stop
it's-
here. They lived
it's
happily
kind of
ever
nice,
after.
right?
Well, like the 30s, you
So-
don't live long. Like,
Mm-mm.
so you might as well just go
Yeah,
out.
you got to
like,
you got to get it all in. Like,
no, yeah, you might as well just go out.
So after Barrow's release from prison in February 1932, he and fellow inmate Ralph Foltz embarked on a thrilling spree of robberies targeting stores and gas stations. Their ultimate aim was to amass enough money and weapons to launch a daring raid on Eastham Prison. Remember, he wants his justice against the justice system, and he wants to break some of his homies out.
he probably called it the injustice system.
Oh, he's one of those guys.
They're like,
So-
yeah, Clyde, we heard you last time you said it.
The original Batman.
Yeah.
Come on. He's all ribbing him. So,
Laugh at it, man. Laugh. Please clap.
So, please clap. Floyd and Clyde are going to be quite. Ralph Foltz and Clyde are going to be quite a force to be reckoned with, but their luck took a turn for the worse on April 19th when they were apprehended during a botched burglary at a hardware store in Kaufman. Their plan was to steal firearms, but no such luck. Bonnie was there and managed to escape indictment and secure her freedom after a few months. Foltz faced trial and conviction and a prison sentence. I'm sorry, that was not Bonnie. That was Clyde. Clyde did not get indicted on anything. Fucking slithery, slimy, charming motherfucker.
He said this is a
And
job
Ralph-
for somebody with 10 toes, and that's not me.
Literally.
Ralph Foltz faced trial, conviction, and a prison sentence.
Look at
He
that
chose
guy's
to sever
shoes.
ties with the gang after that, leaving behind a life of crime. So no recidivism for him. Good. I mean, finally it worked, but it wasn't because of the system. It was because he just kept getting linked up with assholes that left him behind. Meanwhile, Bonnie had found herself for small crimes inside the walls of Kaufman County Jail. To pass the time, she turned to her poetry, pouring her emotions onto paper. Little did she know that her reunion with Clyde Barrow was just around the corner, as she was released from jail just a few weeks later. On April 30th, Barrow played the role of getaway driver in a robbery in Hillsborough. Unfortunately, things took a deadly turn when the owner, J.N. Boucher,
Bobby
was
Boucher.
shot and killed. And I touched her boobies, and I loved them. So, despite Barrow staying inside the car, Butcher. I'm just gonna go Butcher. There's no T, so it
Is there
throws
a
me
U
off.
in
but-
it?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Bucher.
How do you know it's not like Bucher?
Yeah, it could be. Let's go Bucher.
Or French?
Bucher.
Oh, that's Bobby
Bucher's wife identified Clyde as being there, even though he never came inside. He was a getaway driver. But she saw him in police photographs and was like, yep, that motherfucker. August 5th marked a fateful day for Clyde Barrow and a few other crew members who were enjoying a night of moonshine and revelry at a country dance in Stringtown, Oklahoma. When apparently in 1930 it's all about using your initials, Oklahoma Sheriff C.G. Maxwell and Deputy Eugene C. Moore approached them. In a moment of chaos, Barrow and another cohort unleashed a hail of bullets, killing Moore and leaving Maxwell gravely wounded. This was the first time Barrow and his gang had taken the life of a law enforcement officer, but it wouldn't be the last. Before we get too far into it, how many victims would eventually be attributed to Clyde, Bonnie, and the Barrow gang? So in the end, they're going to say, yes, they killed this many people.
God.
Closest to the answer gets 250 points. If you nail it, this one, it is for 1,000.
So they started in the 20s and they ended in like the 30s.
They started in, basically it was like I think over a year and a half, their spree. 32 into 33. Yeah. 250 points for the closest, 1,000 if you nail it. 750 Aiden, 250 Paige right now.
You go first.
Plenty of time. 16 questions today, by the way.
Okay. I
Oh!
ready? Sorry. What?
Nothing.
Why?
I thought I was like way high, but you're way high.
Oh, okay. I said 301. I don't know. You got a Tommy gun. You know,
Yeah.
loading bullets. Like, You can
No,
do a
I'm-
lot of damage real
I
quick.
guess, yeah.
I hear you.
I was
if you're gonna go
say,
big, go home. Just
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
light
I
it
was
up.
gonna say just 50.
Oh,
50?
not enough.
50.
You're not thinking big
Well,
enough.
We're gonna give Paige 200
Oh.
points.
Okay, but how much though?
Can I
because
read it?
before it was said and done, yeah.
Yeah. Their total body count 9.
Are you serious?
Right there. Right. It's right there in black and white in front of me.
Huh.
Hey, they were in the
I would
robbery
really
game,
overthought
robbery
that.
game, not the
Yeah, I
not the
guess you're
murdering
right.
game.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay. You are way fucking off.
No, I was in like your neighborhood until I read that.
That's crazy.
I was like, it had to be 100 or more.
Yeah.
And
Thing is, and we'll kind of get to it a little bit later. Is a lot of time too. They would kidnap, and then they would drop somebody off like 3 towns over, like buy them a clean shirt and give them $5 and be like, find your way home.
Oh.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and we'll talk about a little bit more as we move on
back
here.
when
But like,
criminals
yeah.
were like decent people, like John Dillinger,
Yeah.
like burning all the bank loans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wait, but just like think about it. Like it's the 30s. Like you're probably poor. You just got kidnapped, but like then you're getting a new shirt. You probably
And
haven't had a new
$5.
shirt.
Hell yeah.
for
That's
so
a lot
of
long,
money
but-
back
I was gonna
then.
say that's like getting a month's salary.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Well,
Like, where you
and
been? You just put up in new clothes.
Yeah.
a lot of times they would kidnap people basically to save time. Like it was like a carjacking, and they'd be like, "You don't even have time to get out. Just start driving. Go, 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 go."
Scoot over. Let
You
me
know,
take
it's
over.
kind of like
You
that
know.
situation.
Scrooge.
Yeah, so also, so the number of 9 is like their official number. That's not to say that they couldn't have had more or perhaps less, but that's the official number attributed that I've got here. So the trio's going to waste no time. Basically, they're going to leave Dallas the night that they kill the police officers. Their actions on Christmas Day were far from festive as they mercilessly murdered Doyle Johnson, a young family man, while stealing his car in Temple. Barrow's
That's the
thirst
name
for
of
violence.
Stephen Baldwin's character in Biodome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Doyle Johnson.
Doyle
Oh.
Johnson.
You see me naked.
Doyle. Poor guy.
Now I want to make a filter. So Barrow basically seems that like violence is not like some far offshoot for him anymore. Like the reason Doyle Johnson lost his life is because there was resistance and he was too much of a liability. So hey, instead of driving us to where we need to go, I'm going to kill you and pull you out of the car. On January 6, 1933, as months passed, Barrow's gang grew in numbers. Like I said, we're going to touch on it a little bit, but if you guys want a crazy story, go check out the entire thing of the Barrow gang. It'll blow your fucking mind how much went into this story beyond these 20 pages we have here. So, W.D. Jones is a childhood friend of Barrow's. He joined forces with Bonnie and Barrow on Christmas Eve in 1932. He was 16 years old. You gotta remember, too, that Bonnie and Clyde were like 20 and 21 at this time. March 22nd, 1933, we get Clyde's brother Buck is granted a full pardon and set free from the confines of his prison. It was at that moment that a lot of joy passing through the Barrow family and a lot of relief because both brothers are out of prison and back together. Buck is married while he's in prison, but as soon as he gets out, he and his wife Blanche waste no time in joining Bonnie, Clyde, and W.D. Jones in their temporary hideout at 3347.5 Oak Ridge Drive in Joplin, Missouri.
So half address. Those are the ones that are like the mother-in-law suite that sits behind the house, right?
A lot of times, as a delivery driver, I have learned a lot of how like half addresses work.
Yeah.
And
That seems so fucked up, dude. Why not just make it 3348? Because the one next door is not 3348. It's
Yeah.
3349 because odds and evens. So just like
Listen, buddy. Sometimes we'll pull out to a property, and it'll be like, "Oh, you got to deliver to 180 West Hampton and 462 West Hampton and like 319 West Hampton." I'm like, what the fuck? Where are all these? They're all just on the same property. It's
Oh.
like they just made up their number. Like it's yeah. You just go down some long janky driveway and yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's a weird address. Go check it out if you're near Joplin. I don't know if it's still there or not. But I think Blanche and Buck getting out of prison, their intentions were not solely to enjoy their newfound freedom. They were trying to convince Clyde to surrender to the authorities. However, their efforts were often overshadowed by the rowdy and boisterous atmosphere that filled the hideout. Basically, they fell into how good of a fucking time Clyde was giving out there at the hideout. Late into the night, most nights, the group would be playing cards loudly, fueled by alcohol, and you hear nothing but laughter. Blanche later reminisces about the daily case of beer that they would consume. The hideout became a hub of activity, and men would be coming and going at all hours. It was during one of these moments that Clyde accidentally discharged a Browning automatic rifle while cleaning it.
My uncle did that.
I was going to say...
There's a desk like this one in my grandma's house, and there's a big ass fucking hole in it because my uncle did that.
Oh, you guys kept it around?
Because he passed away, so like, you know,
It's the
let's keep
family
the
story.
desk.
We tossed it.
Did you toss it?
Yeah, Grandpa gave it to me and it fell apart, so we tossed
Oh,
it.
I guess it's
So-
gone.
But the story lives on forever.
Yes.
So, basically, yeah, Clyde blasts off a BAR, which remember is a 30-06, which is a very loud, basically like a hunting rifle round in an automatic rifle. The sound echoed through the apartment, causing a stir, but luckily not alerting any neighbors immediately. But one vigilant resident did report their suspicions to the Joplin Police Department. So they didn't call the cops that night and say, hey, I heard a gun. But they called and said, listen, I don't know what the fuck's happening over there, but someone needs to check on this shit. So on April 13th, the police decided they'd finally take action. A 5-man force, armed and ready, assembled in 2 cars to confront what they believed were bootleggers residing at the Oak Ridge Drive address. So they were rolling up like, we're going to get these shiners. We're taking all 5 of us with 2 cars, not knowing that they're like, you know, they're a house full of 30-06 automatic rifles. Basically, yeah, so I of course I wrote that here. Little did they know the danger that awaited them. It's called setting the tone. As soon as Barrow and his brothers and Jones caught sight of the police, chaos erupted, gunfire filled the air, leaving Detective Harry L. McGinnis dead and Constable J.W. Harriman fatally wounded. Bonnie, never one to back down, also unleashed a barrage of bullets from a gun herself.
Okay, bad.
What type of
bitch.
gun did Bonnie shoot at the officers? Was the Stevens Model 94 shotgun, the same Browning automatic assault rifle that Clyde used, a Winchester Model 88-308, or a Smith & Wesson straight line target pistol, which is a .22 caliber?
It was a shotgun.
A shotgun, an assault rifle, basically a a lever action rifle, and a .22 pistol.
I'm gonna go with the pistol, with the 22.
I'm gonna go with the lever action one.
Winchester and the pistol. No points, unfortunately. Sorry, guys.
We suck.
So with the Barrow Gang, we'll find that the BAR Browning assault rifle was a very popular
favorite.
choice, and they were also big fans of sawed-off shotguns.
Yeah, but
those were
who's
their-
not? Because a little stagecoach like that's fucking cool, man. Little sawed-off shotgun that you can just
This guy knows.
put a pistol grip on it or something like that. Keep it in
Or
your
just
trench
shoot it
coat.
from the fucking hip like the Terminator, bro.
Yeah, I'm not strong enough for that.
Yeah, so the bar is the gun, the BAR. Sergeant G.B. Kaler found refuge behind a sturdy oak tree, narrowly avoiding the deadly projectiles. The sheer force of the bullets caused splinters of wood to embed themselves in the sergeant's face, a testament to the intensity of the shootout. So basically, he's behind a tree, and he's got wood embedded in his face, and it's from the bullets hitting the tree and shooting wood shrapnel into his face.
That's not fun. I would have been like, y'all good. I'm gonna pack it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
I'm going
y'all
home
do-
now.
Good job, fellas. You win this round.
But it-
No, yeah. Have a
But it
good night,
gives you
y'all.
an idea. It gives you an idea of the power that the BAR had. That these cops were probably shooting some, I would guess 38 or 45
Little pistol.
Yeah.
pistol
Yeah.
versus a 30-06 fully automatic.
Barney
Brandon
Fife
assault rifle.
looking like Smith and Wesson with the 6
Yeah.
shots they gotta keep
Yeah,
reloading
yeah,
one
yeah.
at a time.
Yeah.
That was kind of Clyde's MO too, was like he was going to go in with the most power. So I think we talked about it a little bit, like Clyde's V8, like during the time, we're not like we're not at a moment of vehicle supremacy in the United States or anything. So Ford comes out with this V8 and it blows basically everything out of the water. This Ford V8. So Clyde, the only cars that he would steal were ones with this Ford V8 in it, because basically no police force in the world had vehicles that could keep up with the Ford V8.
And I'm
So it's basically like,
assuming people.
I'll have a Ford V8 and you'll never catch me, and I'll have these Browning assault rifles. So if you
Yeah.
do catch me, I'll fucking blow you up.
I'm
Coulda had a
assuming
V8.
it's people that have money that are buying those cars too, because
Yeah,
I
it's
would
a new car.
assume like rich people are the only ones that are going to be having those.
Well, the 30s weren't exactly popping off for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're able
It's
to buy a
fast, it's just
car,
going 40
you're
miles an hour.
yeah.
Yeah. And it had the little running boards on the side that people had to stand on.
Yeah, for more Tommy gunning.
Yeah.
So, in the midst of the chaos of the shootout, remember we got the cop behind the tree taking embedded wood to his face from the power of the bullets. In the midst of the chaos, Bonnie managed to join the others in the getaway car, but before they could speed away, they snatched Blanche from the street where she had been chasing after her dog Snowball.
Oh.
So Snowball got out during the shootout, and Blanche was
You,
So the surviving officers later testified that they had only fired a total of 14 rounds during the conflict. Most of the firing came from the Chestnut gang.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
called.
each one of them emptying their revolver plus one.
One bullet found its mark on Jones, another grazed Buck after ricocheting off a wall. In a daring escape from the clutches of the law in Joplin, the group managed to slip away, leaving behind a treasure trove of their belongings. Among the forgotten items were Buck's recently acquired parole papers, so just identifying shit, a collection of powerful weapons, a heartfelt handwritten poem by Bonnie, and a camera filled with precious moments yet to be developed. Question number 7: What was on the roll of film left behind? Was it A, evidence of a burglary? B, evidence of a murder? C, pictures of the gang posing and looking cool? Or D, just regular day-to-day photos?
Oh, man, I know which one I want it to be.
Evidence of burglary, evidence of murder, pictures of the gang posing and looking cool, or regular day-to-day photos?
I'm gonna say day-to-day
Yeah,
photos.
I'm going with the regular day to day.
I want it to be pictures of them posing and looking cool.
Yeah.
I want it to be their MySpace photo shoot.
Here's Clyde frying up some bologna. Here's Clyde buying us some gasoline. Greg, your wish is my command, buddy. You can go look those photos
Wow.
up, because basically a photo shoot. Like when
Sick.
you probably thought of Bonnie and Clyde, you probably thought of the photos that were found on this camera right here. Like Bonnie looking all badass with a gun in her hand and a cigar in her mouth. Like Clyde standing there with the shotgun hanging low. Those were all
Sick.
they basically did a photo shoot of how fucking cool they were.
BDE right there.
Yeah, they were
Big dick energy, babe.
Would that not be incriminating when you go to get them developed?
I was just
Yeah.
thinking that. I'm like, well,
Like, no,
but
they're just props.
Or can they do it themselves? Like, I would think people would.
But
be
like
able
they're
to
always on the
develop
move. You
their
have to have
own
so much
film.
crap to do that.
But could you imagine, like, what are you going to do? You're going to call the cops and be like, hey, these people have, like, cigars and guns.
Yeah.
And they're going to come back in and be like, hey, where's our photos? Oh, I called the cops. They're going to murder you
Yeah,
and then
you're-
smoke a cigar. Like,
Take pictures with your body.
yeah. Obviously, they don't give a fuck, so you might as well just be cool.
Oh my gosh. Oh, buddy. He's like, wait, what happens when I take these to Walgreens?
The horn photo lady's gonna be like, what?
What is this?
So, again, these would be some of the most famous images of Bonnie and Clyde we know of today. People with even a passing knowledge of Bonnie and Clyde have seen these photos. Like, you've seen these. They look like you went to Knott's Berry Farm and put on all the Western stuff and took the sepia photo. With, like,
I
they're
did
they're
that.
like that.
There was like an old Western one, and I think it's in
Yeah.
Monterey. I did that shit.
Everybody should do that at least
It's
once. Have the
amazing.
wanted poster of
I was
yourself
like
made.
one of the
Harlots.
horrors.
Dang. I love the Simpsons one where they're in the old western town and Bart comes up with a wanted poster of Homer and Marge is like, "Oh my gosh, how cute! Where'd you have this made?" And
That
he's
guy's
like,
handing 'em
"I don't
out
know,
over
that's
there."
it. That guy's handing them out over there.
Wanted for public indecency.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, they found a roll of film. It had basically them looking like a badass. The images captured of Bonnie and Clyde and their accomplice striking fierce poses, brandishing their weapons with an air of defiance. These snapshots of their rebellious spirits were like a window into their dangerous world. Basically, the police and the media took it as like, look how lightly they take it. You know, like look how like fun this is to them.
Yeah.
So the Globe wasted no time in sharing these captivating photographs along with Bonnie's heartfelt poem with the rest of the world through the newswire. So they found, poems and photos and they were like, published, done. One particular image that caught everyone's attention was that of Bonnie, her teeth clenched around a cigar while gripping a pistol in her hand. It was a powerful and striking visual that perfectly encapsulated the audacity and fearlessness of she and the Notorious Gang. I think, like, this is something where, like, if you find now, you'd be like, what fucking nerds?
Yeah,
But in the
like,
1930s, you're like, whoa.
and imagine like little
Whoa,
girls
what the
seeing
fuck?
that. They're probably like, "Fuck yeah, I want to be like her."
Fuck Annie Oakley, I want to be Bonnie Parker.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I mean, people literally still do. Didn't Jay-Z and Beyonce have a song called Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah.
Like-
Foxy Brown has like 2 of them.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like,
Like
there's
I was saying,
still.
we're coming up on 100 years, and it's still a story that I'm like, dude, I had to cut out 10 pages of material to be able to make it fit.
I mean, the Netflix, The Highwaymen, that was recent. It was like what 2019 or something.
Yeah.
It was
Like they're
because
still making.
I've never
stuff.
seen it, and I just kept seeing comparisons.
I
to
had
it.
to watch it because my sweet man Kevin Costner's in it. I fucking love him.
He is a sweet man.
He's amazing.
I'm a Field of Dreams fan. I fuck with that.
I was just gonna say he's the one who played baseball in the corn, right?
Uh huh. If
Yeah,
you build
baseball in
it,
the corn.
they will come.
So as news of the Barrels Gang's exploits began to spread like wildfire, their faces graced the front pages of newspapers across America. These motherfuckers are famous, y'all.
I
Worldwide.
The
mean,
nation
they
was
did it right though. They
captivated.
did the sick photos and then got him out there in the media.
Yeah, they got their own. It
That was
wasn't,
their
it wasn't like
plan.
a wasn't like a Nick Nolte mugshot.
Right, dude. There's some PR company out there going, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, write that down."
Write that down. Write that down.
So at this time, the nation is completely captivated by their daring adventures and the sheer audacity at which they're basically throwing their criminal lifestyle in everybody's face. The group's escape may have been successful, but their abandoned possessions and the revealing photographs had inadvertently thrust them into the spotlight. So they went from like being pretty successful criminals to being like famous criminals. They are celebrities.
They
at
went
this
viral.
point. Yeah, yeah. They a very early case of
I
going
mean,
viral.
they're in their early 20s. That's about the right time
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
really
They would be
start popping
sick
off
on
in your
TikTok.
career.
Clyde's like, shit, I always thought it was going to be tuberculosis, but here we go. So the Barrow Gang had become they're the talk of the town. Talk of the town. Captivating the imagination of the nation, hungry for thrilling tales of rebellion and adventure. Now, remember, we're like coming off like Al Capone. This is like crime serials are becoming a very popular thing. Like, this is a nation hungry for news about or even fiction about crime. So bring on the Barrow Gang. Like that, we're ready for it. We are a nation built on violence that loves that violence. That shit ain't ever going away. Like, you can't show boobies on TV. Whoa, have you ever seen Scanners? A guy's head fucking explodes.
Yeah, it does.
Don't show your ankles, but let me show you something else.
Come on, free the boobie. So the Barrow Gang is out there. They're known, okay? Like it's not a secret anymore. They're going to go out. They're going to go to Texas. They're going to go all the way up to Minnesota. They're going to basically over the course of 3 months, they're going to leave a trail of chaos and mayhem in their wake. In a daring attempt to line their pockets, they targeted the banks of Lucerne, Indiana, and Okabena, Minnesota. But their criminal exploits didn't stop there. In a shocking turn of events, they would kidnap Dillard Darby and Sophia Stone during a car theft in Ruston, Louisiana. I think that's just one of those ones where it's like, fuck, we can't throw them out right here. Like, just go. This is
Dillard
just one
Darby
of many.
sounds like a, I don't know, like an '80s keyboard musician.
Yeah.
Or he'd be like,
Like,
he would be the character that's the equivalent of Screech and Saved by the Bell.
yeah, and Sophia Stone sounds like an actress, but Dillard Darby sounds like.
I
Yeah,
love that
mean,
they're married and both of their names are alliterations.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Look at you.
Wow.
Dillard Darby and Sophia Stone.
Love
Too
that.
bad the town in Louisiana didn't start with an L. You know what? It does now. Dillard Darby and Sophia Stone during a car theft in Luston, Louisiana. In your face, Rustin. Your new town name is thus. So this was one of many instances where they brazenly would just snatch people or police officers or innocent victims. They had a real problem with police. Like basically, if you crossed paths with the Barrow Gang and were a police officer, it was going to be trouble. Astonishingly, they would often release their captives far from home, oftentimes even providing them with money to find their way back. The newspapers couldn't get enough of these sensational stories, especially the more violent ones. The Barrow Gang basically showed no mercy, taking down anyone who dared to stand in their way, whether it be law enforcement, officer, or an unsuspecting civilian. The gang was not afraid to spill blood. Now, remember, I said they killed 9 people. They shot a lot more than 9 people.
Oh.
Their
They were not.
theme
They were not.
song would have
Approximately
They were not
301 people.
Yeah, 301. Their theme song would have been "Fuck the Police" by NWA.
Yeah.
Oh
Not
man,
wrong.
could you imagine? So you remember the modern retelling of Romeo and Juliet with Jamie Kennedy?
And not Leonardo DiCaprio.
Was it the
Yeah.
Leo one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I like
Leo.
to call it a Jamie Kennedy movie, but could you imagine a modern retelling of Bonnie and Clyde?
With
Like,
Leo?
well, yeah,
That'd be
probably
sick.
get Jamie Kennedy involved in that one too, but he's not doing anything.
No.
But
he heard his name was on the serial killers. He's like, whoa, what? Wait,
Wait a
what?
second. Let me
pop
go
up in
on
a
here.
Google alert.
They said my name.
People are still talking about me?
But yeah, if they did that, that would be a good.
Yeah.
You're right. That would
Leo
work.
would be perfect, honestly.
He's too old.
Yo, traffic.
Yeah, but
looking
he's still
for my
like the
chapstick.
young ones.
Feeling kind of car sick. There's a Ford Maverick.
I could rap about anything.
Yeah, I'll buy
I
y'all
forgot
cars.
it was rap. Like they rap to that whole movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terribly. So,
Terribly.
Blanche. Wait, no,
Oh yeah,
lost
Blanche.
one. Oh, Blanche. She's still hanging around. Their cold-blooded murders were going to shock the nation and force people to confront the harsh reality of their crimes, ultimately leading to their downfall. While the public was captivated with the gang's photographs behind the scenes, their desperation and discontent were growing. Blanche, one of the gang members, penned a gripping account of their lives during her time in prison. Basically saying, like, yeah, it seemed like glamour from the outside. The newspaper was reporting it like they were some, celebrities, but really they were like cooking on a campfire and pissing in the woods.
Sleeping
and
under wagons.
things were, yeah. Clyde's like, it's come full circle.
This trauma is too much for me.
Yes. So, with their newfound notoriety, their everyday existence became a constant struggle, and they desperately tried to evade capture. The once secure havens of, they'd hang out at restaurants and motels, no longer safe places, forcing them to resort to cooking over campfires, bathing in icy streams, living in such close quarters that tensions ran high among the 5 individuals crammed into one car. The unrelenting proximity bred vicious arguments and bitter disputes. It was during this time that Jones, basically the driver, made a daring move. He and Clyde stole Darby's car in late April and left the others behind for some time before returning in the beginning of June. And then Jones would leave again, leaving the rest of the gang to wonder about his fate. As the net closed in around them, it appeared that their days of freedom were numbered. On the day in June, Jones would return, and Barrow, Jones, and Bonnie would embark on a drive near Wellington, Texas, unaware of the impending danger that lay ahead. Little did they know that their journey would take a terrifying turn at a bridge that was under construction. Ignoring the warning signs, Barrow failed to navigate the treacherous paths, causing their car to flip into a ravine.
What an idiot. Like, really? You're gonna let don't drive on this bridge?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm Clyde. I got it. Question number 8. There was a major injury due to this accident. What happened? Buck was shot in the head. Bonnie was burned on her leg very badly. Clyde broke his hand, or Blanche broke her ribs.
I think Bonnie got burned.
This is the car flipping into the ravine.
Yep.
I don't know. That
Did
just sounded right.
Buck's gun go off? Shoot himself in the head?
That one just seems so.
A Bonnie leg burn, a Clyde hand break, or a Blanche rib break?
I want to say ribs, but I'm gonna go with the gun. Buck getting shot in the head.
Buck shot in the head.
I'm going with Bonnie.
Paige is saying Bonnie burn. We're gonna give Paige 250 points and the tie because it's
Ooh.
basically it's a controversy as to how it happened. Some people say like the car caught on fire and she got badly burned on her leg. Some people say it was acid spilled from the battery, which at the time were under the floorboard of the car, and when it flipped, that happened. So, however it happened, basically. Some sources claim gasoline fire erupted, engulfing the car in flame. Others suggest a different, equally horrifying scenario: Bonnie being doused with acid from the car's battery and beneath the floorboards. Regardless of the cause, the outcome was devastating. Bonnie suffered third-degree burns on her right leg, so severe that her muscles contracted, causing her leg to painfully, quote, draw up.
Ooh.
I know, because she had
Yeah,
a
so-
limp the rest of her life, right? I don't know if I'm getting ahead of it, but yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. Basically, that leg seems to me like it might have been like dead from the knee down.
Yeah.
Basically, how badly it was burned. It cooked. It got cooked. The sight was so gruesome that even Jones, a hardened criminal who had seen many people be killed, doubted Bonnie's chances of survival due to even just the leg wound. Her right leg was stripped of its protective hide, exposing bone in many places.
Oh, damn.
Bonnie's injuries left her virtually immobile. She could only hop on her good leg or rely on Clyde to carry her. Desperate for help, they stumbled upon a nearby farm family who provided some assistance. However, their desperate situation took a sinister turn when they resorted to kidnapping two police officers who came along. Collingsworth County Sheriff George Corey and City Marshal Paul Hardy became their captives, who they handcuffed and cruelly barbed wire tied them to a tree outside Eric, Oklahoma. Seeking refuge after this and a chance to tend to Bonnie's agonizing burns, the trio rendezvoused with Buck and Blanche, finding solace in a tourist court near Fort Smith, Arkansas. The atmosphere with the gang at this point is very tense as they nursed Bonnie's wounds and anxiously awaited her recovery. However, the respite was short-lived as Buck and Jones botched a robbery and committed a heinous act, the murder of Town Marshal Henry D. Humphrey in Alma, Arkansas. With the law closing in on them, the criminals were forced to flee despite Bonnie's grave condition. So, like, it's fucked up right now. It's bad.
The wheels
Shit
are
is
coming
bad,
off, man.
bad. Yeah, dude, it is not looking good. It's not looking good for the Barrow gang.
No, it is not.
So the urgency of their escape is overshadowed any hope for proper medical attention for Bonnie. The road ahead is going to be uncertain, dangerous, and filled with the constant fear of capture. But for Barrow, Jones, Bonnie, Buck, and Blanche, lots of bees.
Yeah.
There was no turning back. Their lives had become a relentless pursuit of survival, leaving a trail of chaos and tragedy. In July of 1933, the gang arrived at the Red Crown Tourist Court located south of Platte City, Missouri. The establishment consisted of two brick cabins connected by garages, both of which were rented by the gang. Adjacent to the cabins was the Red Crown Tavern, a well-known restaurant among Missouri highway patrolmen. What a great place to rent, like, let's just check out the place to say where all the highway patrolmen go as wanted criminals.
Yeah. Let's go hang out there. That sounds like a great idea.
We're slipping, guys.
Fucking idiots. First the bridge, now this.
I just keep thinking about
Yes.
her leg. Like,
I know, her leg.
I would
She
just-
should have
they
taken
should-
that as
no,
a
I would-
sign.
It just like
Something to
looks like a
fill
little
shoot.
piece of jerky.
like, just kill me. Like, I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
That's
She's just got like a little piece of jack links hanging off her knee.
Oh my god.
it's just dangling.
Oh.
So, Blanche would register the party as 3 guests. at the Red Crown Tourist Court. Although the owner did see 5 people exiting the car, he's just like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like, come on. Also, he noted that the driver backed into the garage in a, quote, gangster style for a quick getaway. Has anybody ever... I'm not even going to lie. My dad used to say this. Like, whenever I used to back into the... Like, I had a parking spot in high school, and I would back into it, and he'd always be like, why do you do that? It's like the hell gangster parks. I was like, what? What the hell? And then I was researching this and saw that this guy said, yeah, they backed into the garage like a gangster style.
Oh, no.
It's like, holy shit, dude, my
Don't
dad's
tell
from the 30s.
Don't tell that to all the fucking guys with their big ass trucks that park backwards. Because now they're going to
See, I always parked
they're
backwards
gangsters.
at my old house because I lived on a main road and I never wanted to back onto the main road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would back into the driveway. Hella gangster.
Hell yeah.
But I just thought it was funny. My dad used to say that. And I just thought it was some bullshit that he was saying. And I saw this and was like, whoa.
Well,
there's
Dad,
some
you were
validity
right.
to your statement? Yeah. Son of a bitch. So Blanche paid for their accommodations and meals with coins. That was another thing that caught some attention to them. So it's kind of coming in like, yes, I'd like to buy our meal. And here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Here's
6,
4
7,
pounds
8,
of change.
Here's all my change.
The owner also noted, that he drove in gangster style. The following day, Hauser, the owner, noticed that the gang had covered all the windows of their cabin with newspapers. Blanche once again paid for 5 meals with coins, and her attire of riding breeches was also quite unusual for the area and drew attention from eyewitnesses.
Ooh, she was an equestrian girly.
Yeah,
Could you-
so she was...
Could you imagine, like, using newspaper or whatever to cover the window while you're hiding inside, and then the newspapers
It's
that
them.
you put up is you? It's just...
Oh, it's all
straight
Oh,
to
them.
the
fuck, you guys look familiar.
Just standing
Oh,
right
wait a
next to it.
second.
It's like a
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo moment. Like, oh.
Let's
Yeah,
see who
so-
you really are.
So basically, wherever they are in Missouri, there's not really a lot of ladies cruising in equestrian pants.
Well, I feel
Breeches?
like
I'm
that wasn't,
sorry?
like, I feel like like now when I was jumping and wearing those, I would fucking leave the barn in them and go to the store. Like, I don't care. But I feel
Yeah,
like
but
back then,
They weren't wearing women weren't wearing pants.
yes,
back then.
that wasn't like appropriate, I guess. So
She should have been in a damn dress.
yeah,
And she
for
wasn't
real.
wearing
What are
the
you,
boots.
some kind
She
of
was just
witch?
wearing flip-flops.
Her ankles are showing.
It was the fact that she was
So-
only wearing those.
Yeah, literally just that.
It's funny. It's like one of the things that got them caught up. It's like, okay, covering the windows with newspaper, wearing equestrian breeches,
Not following road
paying
signs.
for 5 meals when you only signed 3 people in. I just think it's interesting things that end up getting criminals caught.
Yeah, well, isn't that how
So-
it always is though? Especially with serial killers,
Yep.
they make those
Yep.
stupid little mistakes, and it's almost like they want to get caught because they're just done.
So Hauser informed Captain William Baxter of the Highway Patrol, who was a regular patron at the restaurant, about the mysterious activities of the group. Just then, Barrow and Jones are going into town to purchase supplies to, help treat themselves and Bonnie Parker's leg. Question number 9. Of these 6 supplies, which 2 were not on the list for the Barrow gang? So I've got 6 supplies here for you. They purchased 4 of them. 2 of them they didn't. A. Bandages. B. Whiskey. C. Crackers. D. Hydrogen peroxide. E. Atropine sulfate. And F. Cheese.
Oh, can't forget the cheese.
Bandages, whiskey, crackers, hydrogen peroxide, atropine sulfate, and cheese. 2 of those they didn't buy. 4 of them they did. Got to be satiated, got to be clean. Do you do it with bandages, whiskey? That's dual purpose right there.
Yeah.
Crackers, hydrogen peroxide, atropine sulfate, or cheese.
Oh my god, I don't even know what atropine sulfate is.
Okay,
What
I'm
is
gonna
that?
go with the one of. Can I say them?
Yeah,
Wait, do you know what you're gonna say?
just say it.
I was gonna
Yeah.
go with hydrogen peroxide and cheese, because cheese spoils
Hydrogen peroxide and cheese.
are the ones they didn't buy.
This is what they didn't buy.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the sulfate stuff and bandages.
Atropine sulfate and bandages. You think
did
they
not
just
buy either
completely
of those.
abandoned trying to?
yeah, because
trying
they
to
want to
save her
Yeah, they're
leg?
like, fuck this girl. We need crackers and cheese and
That's
whiskey.
the love of his life, dog.
Did he go to the store?
Like, okay, yeah, but like
Yeah.
he's the leader
Clyde,
of the gang. Like,
Clyde,
if you're not coming back
and
with what,
WD Jones.
like, if you're
Oh.
not coming back with what I
Okay,
need, I'm gonna
I'm
be
doing the
pissed.
sulfate and the hydrogen peroxide.
Okay, so
Okay, no
Screw the-
sulfate, no peroxide.
Screw the bandages. Yeah, no peroxide, no sulfate.
Okay, you'll both get 250 points because they didn't get hydrogen peroxide. They also did not get whiskey.
What?
They got bandages, crackers, atropine sulfate, and cheese.
Is it a dry county?
What's exactly
And
atrazine sulfide?
cheese.
That just sounds like something like that would kill
Is it
you
like
if you
the
used it now.
like
so I feel like that's what they
coagulating
would
stuff,
get.
like to make you?
I
start
want to say that
bleeding?
it is a coagulating and pain killing.
Yeah, like a powder, like
Probably
they
just
used
has
in the
straight,
war
like, opium
when they
or,
like,
coke
poured
in
it over some guy.
I was going to say, I also don't know that it was very effective. It's
Yeah.
a 1930s thing. I don't think it's something.
Well, it's like
but
they
go ahead.
They would like in the I know it's just like TV shows and stuff, but like Band of Brothers, you know, have you seen that? There would be like a guy just like with a huge ass hole in his chest, and they'll like rip that powder open and be like, "Okay, bro, you should feel better now."
Fill it with bandages.
they have stuff that's like quick clot.
Yeah,
It's like
is that what that is?
It's like this stuff's not. No,
Oh,
no. It's like this from the Mayo Clinic. It says atropine sulfate eye drops are used to
they're eye drops.
are used to dilate the pupil before eye exams.
What?
That's probably not what. It's probably not what that was back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably literally just like.
Seems like you'd
opium
want to do the
powder.
different, the opposite of dilation.
Atropine's used to reduce saliva, mucus, and other secretions in your
Okay.
airway during surgery.
Yeah, so like that
Imagine
sounds
you're
like
just like
coagulating.
your legs just boiled off, and then someone comes in with hydrogen peroxide and just starts spraying that.
Here you
out.
go. Atropine sulfate injection, USP in clinical doses, counteracts the peripheral dilation and abrupt decrease in blood pressure
Okay, yeah.
produced by choline esters.
So it's closing your blood vessels.
Yeah,
or
it's a
whatever.
vasorestrictor.
Yeah.
So is nicotine, man. Just smoke a dart.
Hell yeah. Pour it
Smoke a
on
dart, have a bang, even everything out. Vasodilator, vasorestrictors. Let's
Cool.
go. Let's go. Let's go. So yes, and the thing too about this particular purchase was that the druggist contacted Sheriff Holt Coffee. Come on, dude.
It's a great
Holt
name.
Coffee. Who
Like the drink,
put the
man.
cabins under surveillance. Coffee had been alerted by law enforcement from Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas to watch out for strangers seeking such supplies. They had a regular list that they went in for, including atropine sulfate
If anybody comes
And-
in looking for cheese and band-aids, you fucking tell us.
and
Poor
atropine
guys
sulfate.
just buying crackers and cheese, and they're like, "Wait,
It's like, oh, and I cut my hand,
All
damn
gets
it.
tackled.
The sheriff contacted Captain Baxter, who called for reinforcements from Kansas City, including an armored car. At 11 p.m., Sheriff Coffey led a group of officers armed with Thompson submachine guns towards the cabins. There's your Tommy guns.
Hey.
Yeah, baby. During the ensuing gunfight, it became evident that the 45 caliber Thompsons were no match for Barrow's 30-06 Browning assault rifles, which had been unlawfully acquired from a July 7th National Guard armory raid in Enid, Oklahoma. Now, that's another thing is basically whenever Clyde needed new weapons, he went and raided National Guard armories.
the
Like he
hell?
knew where they were. He went and like it's not,
I would be
modern time. He just like
interested to know his IQ. He seems very smart. Like honestly,
He's
Yeah.
probably not book smart though, because like it's the 30s.
I know, but still, like
Say, he
he's
seems pretty savvy, though.
like
No, yeah.
like level-headed in the sense of like criminal.
He's just shiesty.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
can you test IQs with a brain that has bullet holes in it?
He's got Swiss cheese brain.
I mean, you can, but it probably won't do very well.
Truth. So things are fucking they've hit the fan, y'all. And there's like an official shootout with police with stolen weapons that they know came from the National Guard Armory in Enid, Oklahoma. The gang managed to escape again when a bullet inadvertently caused a malfunction in the horn of the armored car. So remember, they're like, we got this armored car from Kansas City, Missouri.
Chill.
So one or the other, either the police or the Barrow gang, shot one and it went into the armored car, and basically the horn just started honking.
Oh.
The police took it as a ceasefire. Like someone on their side was saying, "Stop shooting," So basically, the horn acted as a ceasefire. Consequently, they did not continue firing or pursue the retreating Barrow vehicle. Basically, all the cops were like, "What the fuck is happening, dude? Like, what? Who's honking?" The Barrows take off, and they're like, "Why did you tell us to stop? Who'd you?" And they go over, and the car's just sitting there alone. All me.
I like that.
Or it's the 30s, so it's probably just all.
Nice.
Oh, that laughing noise.
Yeah, either way, like it just seems like sometimes I'll be reading a book and I'll be like, "Ooh, how's this character gonna get out of this?" And they get out of it, and I'm like, "That was bullshit. That would never happen." Like every time the
Yeah.
Barrow Gang gets into something, it's like it was they were written out of it by
Mm-hmm.
some bad writer. Like how a bullet made the horn go off and
It's
it
that
distracted
criminal
all
law.
the cops, right? Like yeah. So listen, this did not end well for the Barrow Gang, even though they got away. The fictional writer even you got to write some tragedy in once in a while. The gang successfully eludes all the authorities with all members, although Buck sustained a severe injury as a result of a bullet that penetrated his forehead,
Ooh.
creating a sizable hole and exposing his wounded brain.
Oh, that's not fun.
Sick.
Little JFK moment.
Wait, he was alive though?
Dude, he was alive, like still talking and eating. His
So
brain was exposed to his forehead.
It probably
there
just
aren't any
missed.
nerve endings in your brain.
Yeah. Think Hannibal when he ate Ray Liotta's brain.
Yeah, well they
Isn't your
keep
brain
you
all
like
nerves.
no, it's your brain's like tissue and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but there's no like pain receptors in your brain. They keep you awake for
That's how
brain
they can do
surgery and
that.
stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like they make you talk to them while they do brain surgery so that they know
They
if
know
they
they're not-
accidentally scramble your shit.
Yeah, they're not like fucking you up.
So what happens if I push here? Anaha.
Oh my god.
Never mind.
They're like, ooh, we went too deep. Go
Yeah,
back.
back out. Ah, thank
New-
you. That was
new
incredibly
nightmare
painful.
unlocked. So yeah, look, dude, they may have gotten away, but Buck has
His
what is
brain
called
open.
quote a sizable hole exposing his wounded brain.
I feel like any hole
Additionally-
that's big enough to be able to be like, that's a brain.
Yeah, that's
That's a
Yeah,
sizable hole.
Uh-huh.
You ain't wrong. Also, his wife Blanche suffered significant damage to her vision in both eyes due to fragments of shattered glass during the fight. The Barrow Gang established their camp at Dexfield Park, an abandoned amusement park located near Dexter, Iowa, on the 24th of July, 1933. Buck, despite being in a semi-conscious state, was able to engage in conversation and consume food. I imagine him like when Edgar got possessed by the bug in Men in Black.
and
Yeah, like he
More
just
sugar.
more.
More sugar.
You want some more food, Buck? Yeah, more.
I picture them eating like Looney Tunes characters. Like they drink water and it just comes out all the bullet holes.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like,
Dude, that's so funny that you mentioned that. Just hang on to that thought, okay? So yeah, look, Buck's not doing too well. Due to the severity of his massive head wound and the significant loss of blood, Barrow and Jones were compelled to dig a grave for Clyde's brother. The presence of bloody bandages on the campers caught the attention of local residents and led the authorities to identify them as members of the Barrow Gang. So another thing, like they're just like so busy taking care of Bonnie and now Buck, they leave some bloody bandages like hanging off a camper, and people are like, "What the fuck is this?" Call the cops, and the cops are like, "That's Bonnie and Clyde, don't you know?" So, consequently, local police officers, along with approximately 100 spectators, surrounded the group, resulting in the Barrows coming under fire. Clyde, Bonnie, and Jones managed to escape on foot, while Buck, who had been shot in the back, and his wife were apprehended by the officers. Buck would succumb to his head and back wounds and pneumonia 5 days
Damn.
after undergoing surgery at King's Daughters Hospital in Perry, Iowa.
He really
damn.
got it handed to him.
like he's just they're like you've
Buck's
been
a
shot in the head.
survivor.
He was fighting.
You've been shot in the head and back, dude. And he's like, yeah, actually, I feel okay except for this cough.
Pneumonia. Oh,
That's
poor
fucked
Buck.
up.
Rest in peace, Buck.
How did they even fix that back in the day? If you just have a hole up there, like
Put some gauze in there.
But,
Yeah.
like your bone doesn't grow back. Like
Like, this is modeling clay, son. Check it
I
out.
mean,
They're just baking
they probably like weld a plate in there.
Yeah.
oh shit.
Just put something.
So,
in there.
over the following 6 weeks, the remaining members of the gang ventured far beyond their usual operational area, traveling to Colorado, Minnesota, and Mississippi. They continued to commit armed robberies. That's basically all they know at this point. Barrow and Jones replenished their arsenal by robbing an armory in Platteville, Illinois on the 20th of August, acquiring 3 BARs, handguns, and a substantial amount of ammunition. By early September, the gang decided to take the risk of returning to Dallas to reunite with their families after a 4-month absence. They miss their mommies, guys.
Bro, you know she's
Jones, yep. Jones, however, chose to part ways with him and proceeded to Houston, where his mother had relocated. He was subsequently arrested without incident on the 16th of November and brought back to Dallas. Throughout the autumn, Barrow engaged in several robberies with local accomplices of lesser significance, while both his and Parker's family attended to Parker's extensive medical needs. So they're taking care of Bonnie a little bit. I also like that these accomplices were known as accomplices of lesser significance.
Yeah, I was gonna
Like-
say what?
What is that? Is that like the equivalent of being uncredited in a movie?
It's like,
Like, I was Clyde Chestnut Barrow's partner. Like, which one were you? I was an accomplice of lesser significance.
they're like call ups because the A team's out, dude. The A team is dead in jail.
Everyone's
You get
just
to play.
having a
You get to
hard
play in
time.
August.
Yeah, dude. They're just pulling some JV guys up to just for numbers.
So, listen, the action doesn't end. Neither do the good names because we're about to run into a couple of them.
Let's do it.
Throughout the autumn, Barrow engaged again in several robberies with lesser significance accomplices. On the 22nd of November, they narrowly escape arrest while attempting to meet with their families near Sowers, Texas. Sowers? I don't know. Dallas Sheriff Smoot Schmid, Deputy Bob Alcorn, and Deputy Ted Hinton. Hey, you guys remember Ted
Smooch
Hinton?
Schmidt.
Amazing.
Schmood Schmidt. Hey, Ted
Such a
Hinton was the
good name.
post guy from earlier.
Oh,
yeah.
They would lay in wait nearby, sensing a trap as he approached. Barrow drove past his family's car, prompting Schmid and his deputies to rise and unleash a barrage of gunfire. And this time they weren't fucking around. Guess what they had in stock?
The
BARs.
oh,
Yeah. The individuals who were caught in the crossfire were fortunate enough to avoid being hit. However, a bullet from a BAR weapon penetrated the vehicle and caused injuries to the legs of both Barrow and Parker. Both of them basically were shot in the legs once.
what's up with the leg injuries, man?
I don't know, man, but they fucking took.
Do you
Bonnie
think
was
it
like,
hit her
"It's
in the
okay.
burn
I
leg?"
can't even feel this thing anymore."
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think it hit her in the bird? Like, Bonnie, you've been shot. Really?
Oh
I didn't even feel
man.
it.
So on the 28th of November, a grand jury in Dallas issued a murder indictment against Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow for the murder of Tarrant County Deputy Malcolm Davis, which occurred almost 10 months prior in January of that year. This is the first time that Bonnie's gonna have a warrant for murder out on her. So kind of a big thing,
Bon
you know.
Bon,
kind of a big
she's
thing,
stepping
yeah.
it up.
with her little limb.
So we know there's a lot popping off right here. We got a question to slide in. Question number 10. There's a lot going on. I mean, practically the police bleeding down their throat. Bonnie's leg is beef jerky. They've just been shot in the legs. His brother is now dead. Blanche has been arrested.
Oh
Deputy
yeah,
Jones has split off from them. Clyde still has a mission that he needs to complete. What is it? Is it A, killing the sheriff that first arrested him? B, breaking his pal out of prison? C, stealing enough money to buy his mom a house? Or D, getting away clean? Killing the sheriff that first arrested him, breaking his pal out of prison, stealing enough money to buy his mom a house, or getting away clean?
I got mine.
I think I don't know. I'm gonna go with buying Mama a house.
I'm gonna go with B, getting his friend out of jail.
Okay, getting his friend out of prison and getting mom a house.
Aiden's going to reclaim the lead.
Oh,
Hey.
good job.
Because, yes, if you'll remember from earlier, he's got some buddies that are still in jail
Oh.
that he felt, there's injustice taking place at Eastham Farm Prison or whatever. So on January 16th, 1934, Clyde Barrow orchestrated the escape of his best friend, Hamilton Methvin. That's Methvin. I know that's hard.
That's a good name.
Hamilton Methvin and several others in what became known as the Eastham Breakout. This raid brought negative attention to the state of Texas, and Barrow appeared to have achieved his primary objective in life. During the escape, Barrow gang member Joe Palmer shot Major Joe Croson, who tragically passed away a few days later in the hospital. This act of violence prompted both the Texas and federal government to launch an extensive manhunt for Barrow and Parker. As Croson fought for his life, prison chief Lee Simmons allegedly promised him that all individuals involved in the breakout would be pursued and killed. Eventually, all of them, except for Methvin, were indeed apprehended and met their demise. Methvin managed to save his own life by betraying the gang and setting up the ambush that led to the deaths of Barrow and Parker. The Texas Department of Corrections reached out to former Texas Ranger. Question number 11. What was the name of this former Texas Ranger that they reached out to? Good name. A lot of good names. So I brought a name question. Is his name Tom Strong, Frank Hammer, Joe Crush, or Jim Steele?
Those are all
Tom Strong, Frank Hammer, Joe Crush, or Jim Steele?
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is a guy who stepped out of the game and
about you?
returned
You
to
go.
the game.
I keep going first. You go.
Frank.
Joe Crush.
Frank and Joe.
Aiden says Joe Crush. Paige says Frank Hammer. Paige is going to get back on the
yeah.
board. 1250 to 1250. Yeah, dude, Frank Hammer.
Just so you guys
Frank
know,
I
Hammer,
think that
bro.
was Kevin Costner's character in The Highwayman.
you're tied up. So just so you know, if you guys end in a tie, it goes to an artistic challenge.
Okay.
And
I will say, though, we're only at 11. I think I wrote 16 questions.
Oh
into
shit!
this
Okay,
piece.
there's plenty of time.
Yeah,
plenty of time.
We got some time.
Sweet. We got some time.
Okay. So Frank Hammer is convinced to track down the Barrow Gang. Although Frank Hammer is retired, his commission had not expired, so he accepted the assignment as Texas Highway Patrol officer with a secondary role as a special investigator for the prison system, specifically tasked with bringing down the Barrow Gang. Frank Hammer was described as a tall, strong, and reserved individual, unaffected by authority and motivated by an unwavering commitment to what he believed was right. Throughout Texas, he had been both feared and admired for 2 decades, embodying the ethos of one riot, one ranger, which is the Texas Rangers. I didn't know that was their little tagline.
That sounds sick as fuck. It sounds like a line from a Devil Wears Prada song or something. But
so he had earned a formidable reputation through numerous remarkable captures and the shooting of several Texas criminals. We're still telling the end of the Wild West here. So Hammer has a confirmed kill number. Question number 12. What is Frank Hammer's official kill number in the pursuit of justice?
like total career or just in the pursuit of Bonnie and Clyde?
Oh, he's officially credited with this many kills in his career.
And you said he was channeling the Wild West, like he was part.
Well, think we're in like the 1930s, so like we're not even in the West, but like at the same time, there's still dudes trying to be cowboys real hard. Frank Hammer, sort of. We're in Texas, so like it is the Wild West.
For what it's worth, like Wyatt Earp was a boxing referee in 1917, so like the Wyatt Earp.
The Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
What's his name? Who played him? What's his name?
Patrick Swayze.
No. I'll think of it. Continue. I'm going to go with 15.
15.
I'll go with 30.
30.
Get even there.
Aiden going to jump back into the lead. Because while the Barrow Gang was credited with 9 kills during our episode here, Frank Hammer, during his career in pursuit of justice, is officially credited with 53 kills.
Putting the hammer down.
He also, during his pursuit of justice, endured himself 17 separate wounds.
He's a badass.
See, if I got shot once, I'd be like, I'm packing it up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
This shit really hurts.
No,
I don't
literally.
want to do this again.
I'm going home.
Frank Hammer was hard as fuck.
Putting the hammer down. Frank Hammer.
Let's take a quick break here. We haven't done that. We're just kind of running a little long here.
Yeah.
But we'll come back. We'll finish up the story of Bonnie and Clyde. And I haven't got to say this, I don't think, at all this season. But come back or we'll kill you.
Okay.
The sugar in my coffee never quite dissolved. I could taste it in the last sip I had that morning. Sweet, sweet taste of dissatisfaction. Yep, my morning paper landed in the mud. I couldn't read the news, that often makes me laugh. Dirty, dirty words of corporate distraction. Walking down the street of my old town, a cold black cat was staring me down. Tell me, beast, where is your compassion? Oh, how can it be? I'm losing my mind every time I speak. Broken glass on the floor, it must be the sign that I'm out of luck. Oh, yeah. My baby left me, said that I'd be fine. Left me with a bottle and nothing in my pocket. Lady, lady, fill my cup, I'm feeling empty. Pick myself back up from the dirt. Can't wallow in my baby's cold hard curves. Baby, baby, leave me, I feel it plenty. Oh, how can it be? I'm losing my mind every time I speak. Broken glass on the floor, it must be a sign that I'm out of luck. Oh, how can it be? I'm losing my mind every time I speak. Broken glass on the floor, it must be a sign that I'm out of
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get back into Bonnie and Clyde here a little bit. If you'll recall, Bonnie and Clyde, just part of getting old Mr. Methvin out of prison. There's going to be a lot of shit that's going to be handled from here on out. Frank Hammer's on the fucking job, ready to get things done.
Putting the hammer down.
Yes, he is. From February 10th onwards, Hammer is going to closely trail Barrow and Parker, residing in his car just a town or two behind them, basically on their tail the entire time. 3 out of Hammer's 4 brothers were also Texas Rangers, with Harrison being the most skilled marksman among them, and Frank regarded as the most determined. On Easter Sunday, April 1st, 1934, at the intersection of Route 114 and Dove Road near Grapevine, Texas, which is now called South Lake, Texas, by the way, Highway Patrolman H.D. Murphy and Edward Bryant Wheeler halted their motorcycles, believing that a motorist required assistance. Barrow and Methvin Barrow and Methvin or Parker initiated gunfire using a shotgun and a handgun, resulting in the death of both officers. An eyewitness account indicated that Bonnie Parker delivered the fatal shots, and this narrative garnered extensive media coverage. Methvin later asserted that he fired the initial shot under the mistaken assumption that Barrow intended to kill the officers, prompting Barrow to join in and shoot Patrolman Murphy. It is likely, after all the stories pan out, that Bonnie was asleep in the back seat when Methvin and Clyde both pulled the triggers. And while she probably woke up, it is very likely the police were already dead before she ever was. So, during the spring season, the Grapevine killings were recounted with exaggerated details, significantly influencing public perception of the gang. So they went from like this lovable gang to this like gunned down 2 cops for no real good reason gang. All 4 Dallas daily newspapers seized upon the account provided by a farmer who claimed to have witnessed Bonnie Parker laughing as Murphy's head bounced like a rubber ball on the ground when she shot him. Again, Methvin basically came out and said, like, yeah, I shot, and Clyde shot, and Bonnie was asleep in the back of the car. Several days later, Murphy's fiancée attended his wedding wearing her intended wedding dress, attracting attention from
Attended his
photographers.
funeral.
Sorry. Yep.
I know. Wait, I was like, hold on a second.
Yep. One of the police officers who was killed, his wife or fiance, attended his funeral wearing her intended wedding dress, attracting attention from photographers and receiving coverage in newspapers. So garnering more sympathy for the victims and more hatred for the Barrow gang.
That I mean, I'm not gonna tell somebody how to grieve, but that doesn't maybe seem appropriate to wear your wedding dress, your potential wedding dress to a funeral. But also imagine having yourself a nice little mental breakdown like that, and then it's just over every newspaper. You're not a celebrity or anything. It's not like
this is my second episode in a row where we had like somebody had a little bit of a breakdown during a funeral. Remember the Oba Chandler? He like jumped in his dad's grave.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get it. I mean, like, it's kind of petty. I would do that.
Like
Wear
the wedding dress.
Yeah, it was like you took my wedding from me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm gonna show out.
that's.
I would probably dye it black.
There you
Just to,
go.
like,
That's
you
see
know.
now that's
Ooh.
that'd be sick.
It's a nice day for a black wedding.
Really though.
So the ever-changing account of the eyewitness accounts were soon discredited, but the extensive negative publicity generated a public outcry for the extermination of the Barrow gang. This outcry spurred the authorities into action, with LG Fares, the highway patrol boss, offered a $1,000 reward, which is the equivalent of about $22,000 today, for the dead bodies of the Grapevine Slayers. And remember, he did not ask for their capture, but their bodies. Texas Governor Ma Ferguson added another reward of $500 each to the 2 killers, which meant that for the first time there was a specific price on Bonnie's head, since she was so widely believed to have shot H.D. Murphy. 5 days later, Barrow and Methvin murdered Constable William Cal Campbell, a 60-year-old widower and father near Commerce, Oklahoma. This act of violence further fueled public hostility. So they're just like they're winning over nobody at this
They're just
point.
spiraling
It is
at this point.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They kidnapped a Commerce Police Chief, Percy Boyd, crossed the state line into Kansas, then released him, providing him with a clean shirt, a few dollars, and a request from Parker to tell the world that she did not smoke cigars. So the thing about this quote was, with the 2 bodies of the police officers, there was a cigar found at the scene that had teeth marks in it. It was likely Clyde Barrow's, but because of the photographs that they had found, and like Bonnie had become famous for, everybody assumed that it was Bonnie doing the killing because she was the cigar smoker. So basically they kidnapped this Commerce Police Chief, cross state lines with him, give him some money, give him a few bucks, and say, hey, tell everybody that Bonnie doesn't smoke cigars. Percy Boyd identified both Barrow and Parker to authorities, but he could not identify Methvin because he never learned his name. The resulting arrest warrant for the Campbell murder specified Clyde Barrow, Bonnie Parker, and John Doe. A historian writes, for the first time, Bonnie was seen as a killer, actually pulling the trigger just like Clyde. So, for a lot of this, we're in, like, everybody's got a very old-fashioned thought of it, and they're like, hey, Bonnie's the lady that's just along for the ride, despite the pictures, she's still like, and even the lawmen are like, well, I don't want to be part of like slaying a woman, like that's not, I'm not going to be any part of that. So it's kind of a big deal that she's now seen as a peer instead of being seen as someone being brought along or as a victim of this. So whatever chance she had for clemency had just been reduced. The Dallas Journal published a cartoon on its editorial page depicting an empty electric chair with a sign saying reserved, adding the words Clyde and Bonnie. By May of 1934, Clyde Barrow had accumulated 16 outstanding warrants for various crimes, including robbery, auto theft, escape from prison, assault, and murder in 4 different states. The posse, led by Frank Hammer, had been tracking the gang since February 12th and observed their movements, noting that they skirted the edges of 5 Midwestern states, taking advantage of the state line rule that prevented officers from pursuing a fugitive into another jurisdiction. So, they knew the laws, and they knew that the law couldn't chase them into another state, so they just committed all their crimes along the edge of 5 different Midwestern states and drove a Ford V8 faster than the police had and made it happen. But they're starting to get a little bit predictable. Frank Hammer charted out Barrow's consistent movements and predicted his path, which centered on family visits. The gang was due to visit Methvin's family in Louisiana, and unbeknownst to Frank Hammer, Barrow had designated Methvin's parents' residence as a rendezvous point in case the pair were separated. And at this point, right now, they are separated. So, the posse is consisting of the 6 men we listed before, Frank Hammer, Hinton, Alcorn, and B.M. Maney Galt, and Louisiana officers Henderson, Jordan, and Prentice Morrill Oakley.
Such
May
good
20
fucking names. Dude.
I
like,
know,
if you were
dude.
gonna come up with a fake name, it would be any of these.
No, yeah.
B.M. Maney Galt.
Yeah.
I'm Morrill Oakley. On May 21st, the 4 posse members from Texas were in Shreveport when they learned that Barrow and Parker were planning to visit Ivy Methvin in Bienville Parish that evening. The full posse set up an ambush along Louisiana State Highway 154 south of Gibbsland towards Sales. Hinton recounted that the lawmen were in place by 9 p.m. and waited through the whole next day of May 22nd with no sign of the perpetrator. So they got out there on the 21st, waited all day the 22nd, nothing. Some accounts say they didn't come out until the 22nd, but either way, at approximately 9:15 a.m. on May 23rd, the posse was still concealed in the bushes and almost ready to give up when they heard a vehicle approaching at high speed. It sounded a lot like a Ford V8. In their official report, they stated they had convinced Methvin to position his truck on the shoulder of the road that morning. It was hoped that Barrow would stop to speak with the posse, who had been positioned themselves in the bushes nearby. So they're like, hey, Methvin, park your truck up here. We think if Clyde sees it on the way in, he'll pull over and talk to you. Because at this point, again, Methvin's separated from them. They're coming into a rendezvous point. Clyde is heading in. As anticipated, Barrow does approach the truck in his Ford V8 and slows down. At this point, the 6 lawmen open fire while the vehicle is still in motion. It is believed that Oakley fired the first shot, possibly without any prior order to do so. Barrow was fatally shot in the head and died instantly, causing Parker to scream, as reported by Ted Hinton.
How fucking anticlimactic, though.
For him.
Yeah.
Question number 13. How many rounds were fired into the vehicle that had Bonnie and Clyde inside? So I'm not asking how many hit it. How many were fired at the vehicle, I should say. How many rounds were fired at the vehicle in which Bonnie and Clyde were driving?
Is this the car that's in the museum?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot.
You go.
Oh, no, you go. I don't know.
I'll say about 250.
250.
Get it, much of 250.
Okay, let's do 300.
300.
Like
250 and
301.
300. Yeah, 301.
We're going to give Aiden 250 points, and he's going to stretch out his lead. The officers fired approximately 130 rounds, exhausting all of their ammunition.
It doesn't seem like much
car.
after 250 and 300 were the
Yeah.
guesses.
But remember,
like, still,
there's only 6 guys there, and we're talking early 1930s
Yeah.
weapons.
When I picture like
So-
all the shootings, I like it doesn't sit in my head that they have to reload and like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I'm just
me
picturing
either.
it like it's
Yeah,
like
they're
COD
just like a
zombies.
fire hose.
Yeah.
It's just always there.
That's me. I'm not thinking about they have to put more bullets in.
So the officers fired approximately 130 rounds, exhausting all of their ammunition into the car. Despite having survived several bullet wounds in their previous encounters with the law, Bonnie and Clyde could have succumbed to any one of their injuries on this day. According to statements made by Hinton and Alcorn, quote, each of us 6 officers had a shotgun and an automatic rifle and a pistol. We opened fire with the automatic rifles to start. They were emptied before the car even got even with us. Then we used the shotguns, and there was smoke coming from the car, and it looked like it was on fire. After shooting the shotguns, we emptied the pistols into the car, which had passed us at this point, and ran into a ditch about 50 yards on down the road. It almost turned over, but we kept shooting at the car even after it stopped because we weren't taking any chances.
It's like they
Bonnie
miss
has
every
been
shot.
through it, dude.
Dude,
Twice, freaking crashing.
Okay, is
in
she
the
dead at
car.
this point, or did they say?
Yes.
Okay,
So the authentic film footage captured by one of the deputies immediately following the surprise attack reveals a total of about 112 bullet holes in the vehicle, with approximately 1/4 of them striking the couple.
Ooh.
According to the official report by Parish Coroner J.L. Wade, Barrow's body had 17 entrance wounds and Parker's body had 26, including multiple headshots for each of them. One of the shots had even severed Barrow's spinal column. Greg, this is for you. Remember I said keep your Looney Tunes in thought, because Undertaker CF Boots Bailey encountered difficulties embalming the bodies due to the extensive number of bullet holes.
Oh my god.
They just leaked embalming fluid too
Wow.
quickly for him to be able to do it.
Oh my
The shootout-
god! I can imagine that feels like a Three Stooges skit. Like
Yeah, or you hear like the Benny Hill music playing.
Yeah, he's just stuffing gauze in
Just
places.
the yakety sax.
Yeah.
So the shootout was loud enough and long enough that all of the officers involved were temporarily deafened by the gunfire.
Like Archer.
But still
Mom.
proceeded to inspect the vehicle and made a startling discovery. As well as 2 dead bodies, they found an arsenal which included stolen automatic rifles, sawed-off semi-automatic shotguns, various handguns, and several thousands rounds of ammunition. So basically, Bonnie and Clyde had just re-upped.
Just left the National Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so additionally, they uncovered 15 sets of license plates from different states. Frank Hammer expressed his reluctance in using lethal force against a woman, especially one who was seated.
I'll shoot her, but she's got to stand up.
However, he believed that if it hadn't been her, it would have been them. News of the death spread rapidly as Frank Hammer, Jordan, Oakley, and Hinton drove into town to inform their superiors. A crowd quickly gathered at the scene. The officers Galt and Alcorn were assigned to guard the bodies and left behind, but they struggled to maintain control over the curious and jostling crowd. One woman even went so far as to cut off locks of Parker's bloodied hair and pieces from her dress, which were subsequently sold as souvenirs. Question number 14. Upon returning, Hinton saw someone trying to take a very particular souvenir. What? Was it A, Clyde's pants, B, Bonnie's hair clip, C, Clyde's trigger finger, or D, Bonnie's necklace? This is Ted Hinton. Remember, this is a post worker that went to the restaurant that Bonnie was a waitress at. So he was there, and he said he rolled up and saw someone trying to steal either Clyde's pants, Bonnie's hair clips, Clyde's trigger finger, or Bonnie's necklace.
He wasn't stealing it. He saw someone stealing
Right.
it.
He's the cop who came back to the scene.
Okay, I got mine.
Go.
The trigger finger.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Both of
Okay.
them say the trigger finger.
Both of them are going to get points because, yes, when Ted Hinton returned, he saw a man inside the vehicle. One on each side, actually. One was there trying to remove his trigger finger. The other one was trying to remove his left ear.
Oh. Boy's
Yes.
got no ear, no finger, and
No toes.
no toes.
And a head wound.
So, arriving at the scene, the coroner reported, quote, Nearly everyone had begun collecting souvenirs such as shell casings, slivers of glass from the shattered car windows, and bloody pieces of clothing from the garments of Bonnie and Clyde. One eager man had opened his pocket knife and was reaching into the car to cut off Clyde's left ear. Hinton sought the assistance of Frank Hammer in managing the chaotic and disorderly situation, successfully relocating individuals away from the vehicle. What if it was like, that's where Frank Hammer got 47 of his kills? Just, it's the crowd.
Get the fuck away.
The posse proceeded to transport the Ford with the deceased individuals still present to... Okay, there's 2 questions left. This one's a multiple choice. The next one is closest to deal, so it's still anybody's game. Paige, you are down by 500 though, so getting this right would be very helpful because all you got to do next time is get closest to.
Okay.
Question number 15. The funeral parlor is combined with another local business. Apparently, this is quite common in small towns in the South.
Combination
What?
Pizza Hut Taco Bell.
What local business was the funeral parlor combined with? Was it A, a florist, B, a carpenter, C, a furniture store, or D, a tailor?
I'm between 2, so you choose.
Florist.
Okay,
Florist,
I'll say carpenter.
carpenter. Okay. Both make sense, right? You got flowers, you need a casket. The body was taken by the posse, proceeded to transport the Ford and the deceased individuals to the Conger Funeral Parlor and Furniture Store, situated in downtown Arcadia, Louisiana.
Furniture store.
So, like, sorry your loved ones are dead, but you can get a new bed if you want.
Nothing says grief like a new couch.
Literally.
Special ordered.
Chair and a half, it reclines.
We can embroider
Well, I
the name
mean-
on it.
If you think about it, like...
What else are you going to do with that life insurance money?
Well, also, okay, so, 1930, like Sears Roebuck exists and shit, but, you can't, go to Target and buy a couch and drive home. You got to have, the local guy who makes couches.
You gotta get the Amish to make you a couch.
Yeah. Dude, there's a cool-ass Amish store, a half an hour from my house.
Amazing.
And every time I'm like, I'm going to get one of those double-width rocking chairs. I'm going to do it.
If you go out the
fucking do it.
door and then walk that way along
There's
the
an
building.
Amish, yeah.
Yeah, Lou Rodman's
Yeah.
right there across the street.
Hey. So, it's a furniture store. It's a furniture store.
Weird.
Yeah, I also found that weird, but I looked it up, and again, fairly common in the early.
Actually makes a lot of sense if
in
you
the
think
South.
about it. They're doing woodworking. These people probably need caskets.
Huh. Yeah.
Yep. So,
One stop.
initial embalming procedures were conducted by Bailey in a small preparation room located at the rear of the furniture store, as it was customary for furniture stores and undertakers to share the same premises. The population of the town in northwest Louisiana was reportedly surged from 2,000 to 12,000 in a matter of hours. Inquisitive crowds arrived via train, horseback, buggy, and even plane. The price of beer, typically sold at 15 cents per bottle, escalated to 25 cents per bottle, and sandwiches throughout the town rapidly sold out. Practically a riot.
Could you imagine if all of a sudden drinks just doubled in price and fucking sandwiches were no longer available?
You call Jimmy John's and they're like, nope, sorry.
They're like, have you heard people were murdered here?
I still want
Business
my
is booming.
footlong.
Yeah. Everybody's hungry,
So-
dude.
Exactly. Henry Barrow, after identifying his son's remains, sat in the furniture section, overcome with grief, as he wept in a rocking chair. And I imagine the furniture employees being like, "Hey, listen, if you rock for 5 or 6 more minutes, we got to charge you for that."
Really putting
How's
some
that
miles
chair
on that. It's
feel?
not a rental. What can I do to put you in this chair today?
I'll give you
So-
10% off.
In continuation with our great names, H.D. Darby, an undertaker at the McClure funeral parlor. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from other funeral parlors and furniture stores, such as. H.D. Darby, an undertaker at the McClure funeral parlor. Well, that's the same.
Yeah.
And Sophia Stone, a home demonstration agent from nearby Ruston, both made their way to Arcadia to identify the bodies. This was due to the fact that the Barrow Gang had previously abducted them in 1933.
Yeah, I was like, I
they
remember
needed
Sophia
people-
Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. HD Darby he goes by now, but I think his name was
Dilly Darby or whatever his
Yeah,
name was.
Dilly
Yeah,
Darby.
whatever. Oh, Dilly Dally Darby.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it was something goofy like that.
Yeah, it's up there, but he changed his name ever since the attack. So, but they were used to identify the bodies because they had been abducted by the two. So, it was reported that Bonnie had found amusement in discovering Darby's profession was an undertaker, jokingly suggesting that one day he might be working on her. In a twist of fate, H.D. Darby indeed assisted Bailey in the embalming process of Bonnie Parker. Bonnie and Clyde expressed their desire to be laid to rest side by side. However, the Parker family vehemently opposed this request. Despite her mother's intention to honor Bonnie's final wish of being brought home, the presence of unruly mobs surrounding the Parker residence rendered it impossible to do so. The funeral service for Parker drew an astonishing crowd of over 20,000 individuals, making it challenging for her family to even reach the gravesite. The solemn ceremony took place on May 26th, the following day. Notably, an abundance of flowers from various sources, including some accompanied by cards allegedly sent by Pretty Boy Floyd and John Dillinger. The most significant floral tribute was sent by a group of newsboys from Dallas, symbolizing the abrupt end of Bonnie and Clyde's lives, which captivated the attention of the public and resulted in the sale of 500,000 newspapers in Dallas alone.
What a
So basically-
giant fuck you, man. They're like, thanks for
Yeah.
making us a bunch of money, you dead
Exactly.
Yeah,
Here's some flowers,
really.
you fucking asshole.
bitch. That's insane.
So initially, Bonnie Parker was laid to rest in Fish Trap Cemetery, but in 1945, her remains were relocated to the new Crown Hill Cemetery in Dallas. That's good. I don't know if I would want to be buried somewhere called Fish Trap
Yeah.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I mean,
So they
Well, I
didn't,
mean, to each their own.
yeah.
so they didn't bury her next to Clyde.
Nope, her family refused.
It's not really their decision. I feel like.
I feel like it's more their decision than it is hers because
Yeah.
what's she going to do about
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you can do that, but then you got to spend the rest of eternity doing that.
It did have a joint funeral, I guess, or some joint ceremony. I understand because outside of the funeral homes in Dallas that day, thousands of people gathered, hoping for an opportunity to catch a glimpse of the deceased couple.
What a
Barrow's private funeral took place at sunset on May 25th. He was interred in Western Heights Cemetery in Dallas alongside his brother Marvin. The Barrow brothers share a single granite marker bearing their names and an epitaph personally chosen by Clyde that says, "Gone but not forgotten."
Where did the brother with the hole in his head go?
That's
Is that the
Marvin.
one?
I thought his name was Buck.
Well, it's
Oh.
Ivan Marvin or Marvin Ivan.
But,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Okay.
Yep,
Sorry,
yep.
I was like, hold on a second.
Which we use his Christian name in death. The American National Insurance Company of Galveston, Texas, dutifully fulfilled the life insurance policies of both Clyde Barrow and Bonnie Parker. However, it is important to note that this policy of payouts has since been revised to exclude cases where the insured's death is a result of any criminal act committed by them. This death set precedent to change insurance law
Said you can't do suicide by cop anymore
and get paid out for it.
and get paid out for it. You can still do it, you just won't get paid.
So basically, the 6 individuals comprising of the posse who took down Bonnie and Clyde were each entitled to a payout of monetary awards. Basically, there's tons of rewards set on Bonnie and Clyde, on capturing them, on this. It's not just the 500,000 we talked about. It was a payout which Dallas Sheriff Smoot Schmid had assured Ted Hinton and his men that they would get approximately $26,000 each.
That's a lot.
However, the majority of the organizations that had pledged funds for the reward failed to fulfill their commitments.
I'd be pissed.
Question number 16, the last page. You gotta nail this
I know. I got it.
to win, okay? Because this is the
Put
closest
pressure on
to.
me.
This is the closest to, which means like you need to tell me the amount, not just get the closest.
God, great.
Okay. Question number 16. They were promised $26,000 for their help in taking down Bonnie and Clyde, being part of this posse, these 6 men. Question number 16. How much money did each officer earn instead of the $26,000 promised? I don't need it down to the penny, but if you get it to me in the dollar amount, Paige, you're gonna win. If not, this is Aiden's
So
victory.
it's still rewards, like not like just their normal.
And what
pay.
had
They,
happened?
they got something. So they were supposed to get paid $26,000 based on all of the like, hey, we are offering a $1,000 reward on Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
We're doing $500 each, and then all these other companies and individuals came together to come out with the reward. So this posse of men led by Frank Hammer were supposed to with all the rewards gotten $26,000 each. So how much did they get instead of that $26,000?
10,000.
I'm gonna say 1,000.
Well, if I lose, you get it. So
And Aiden's just going to add on to the lead because consequently, each law enforcement officer received a mere sum of $200.23 for their endeavors, along with some collectible items.
what the
I would
hell?
have redid
I got
Bonnie and
this
Clyde.
trigger finger and this ear.
That's what I was going to
Just-
say.
What happened to all the money?
Someone probably pocketed it. It's
No,
like the Fresno
he,
Aquarium.
he said they didn't put it up.
Oh.
They said, yeah, we'll
But they
pledge
weren't, like-
$1,000 to somebody who captures Bonnie and Clyde.
They
But
didn't
then
put it in the
when
piggy
came time
bank?
to pay up, they were
Ugh.
like, oh, new phone, who this?
We don't have any fucking money to give you.
I would have been
so-
knocking on their door.
Yeah, it's the middle of the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Man. Nobody got any money.
Yeah.
Sell that
By
car.
the
Sell that house.
Yeah.
By the summer of 1934, newly enacted federal statutes had designated bank robbery and kidnapping as federal offenses, so it also set precedent for that. The enhanced coordination among local authorities facilitated by the FBI, along with the implementation of two-way radios in police vehicles, rendered the execution of a series of robberies and homicides more challenging compared to just a few months prior. So they also set precedent to change the way that police officers communicated and basically spoke between one another. Bonnie and Clyde set the precedent. So with that, and with the gaining of technology in police and the implementation of two-way radios in police vehicles, rendered the execution series of robberies and homicides more challenging compared to just a few months prior. 2 months following the demise of Bonnie and Clyde in Gippsland, John Dillinger met his demise on the streets of Chicago. 3 months thereafter, Pretty Boy Floyd was killed in Ohio, and 1 month subsequent to that, Babyface Nelson was killed in Illinois. So we like we've got this like web or Mount Rushmore of like famous criminals, Al Capone's on there and shit. But like we just listed probably 4 that are on that short list of criminals that like for just no reason we know their name, and they all died in like a 7-month span in 1934.
When
Just kinda crazy to
technology
think
caught
about.
up to the
When when police technology caught up to their
they're like,
crimes.
we got two-way radios now. We're catching
Hell
these
yeah.
guys. You guys go up ahead of street and
We
wait for them.
upgraded.
Why?
Yep.
Like, why didn't the cops just get the Ford V8 too? Like, like they knew what they were using, and they were always getting outran. Like, why not just?
Basically,
what?
basically once
That's what they do now.
Is that why
once
cops
they
drive
did,
Fords
they
now?
realized that. Yeah.
I mean,
So
the Crown Vics were
Those
cop
were-
specials.
yeah,
those
Yeah.
things.
oh, those were
fucked.
fast as fuck.
They had like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
LS in them, didn't they?
Charlie
that's
had one
Chevy.
that was his
That's
mom's.
Chevy.
Yeah, it was,
Charlie had one that was his mom's that we used to do like 125
Damn.
miles an hour in.
Damn.
Just a brown Crown Vic, just a turd flying at 125.
What was that line from Blues Brothers? Cop engine, cop suspension, cop transmission. Because he steals that cop car, but he's like,
Oh, yeah.
when he picked him up from prison, lighter's broken.
So that's basically it. The most current news I could find on the matter was a niece of Bonnie Parker and the sole surviving relative of her family is currently, still to this day, advocating for her aunt to be laid to rest alongside Clyde Barrow as per both of their requests. So I don't know if it's going to happen, but
Well, I mean, she's like not even anything anymore now, I would think.
Well, no, she's still gonna be in the casket. Like, they could put her casket next to her. If
That's the
all-
dust to dust part of the ashes to ashes thing.
If all the people that
Isn't that
wanted her
sweet?
to be buried away from him, they're all dead. So like, who's telling her
Yeah.
no? She can just pay for that.
Is there like some legal precedent or something?
There
Like-
probably
guessing.
there
I have
probably
no
is
idea what it is,
something
really.
when with like famous people.
and they're like
this.
a historical, I would guess now.
maybe that
so-
could be my episode 141 for this.
or maybe
Talking about the
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 cemetery.
Parker body.
Yeah.
Well, remember too, her body was already moved like 10 years after it was buried from Fish Trap to
Oh yeah, that's right.
into Dallas. So
Yeah.
Maybe the Dallas cemetery is like, nah, we don't want. We get people coming through here.
And I don't
To
think
see
they
Or-
like to inter people. I think it's like a whole like thing.
Yeah,
Don't you only
like-
lease the land anyway? Like,
No, you.
I think,
think in
that's
some
not
countries-
true. I think that isn't actually
in some
a
countries,
fact.
that's how it works. Here, that's not. I
Yeah.
don't think the case.
No,
Oh,
once
I
you
like
buy
the
the
thought
plot,
of-
you own the plot, right?
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the thought of like my relatives 100 years down the road
Time to
just
go.
getting a bill. Be like, yo,
Time to
this
go.
guy, you need to pay for this guy to keep being dead.
Well, I think in some countries it's common for like the first like 5 years after your death that you have like a really nice grave area, and then you're disinterred and put in like a mass grave.
What?
Like you do, you lease the area. Yeah, totally. It's a
Oh,
real thing.
God.
Not in the States,
Okay.
but like a lot of
I'm
European
gonna cremate
countries,
my
the land
ass.
is the land is so like there's so little
Sparse.
to go around
Yeah.
that it's like, all right, well for sure you're buried here and your family can come visit. And
God, could you
after
imagine?
that, you have like a name, a marker on the wall or whatever it is.
Could you imagine having to like open up the mass grave to put somebody else in there and then close it back up, or do you think it would just be like a hole in the ground and you fucking
Just drop them in there.
Yeah.
The old laundry basket. You just.
Yeah, exactly.
Chute,
Once
put 'em
the,
in the chute.
once the bucket's full, you just dump it.
Ooh.
I don't know. That's a thing for a whole nother episode. But
Yeah.
congratulations, Hayden, on your
Good job,
victory.
Aiden.
2,250 points.
Sweet. And you don't get
Well,
One of
anything.
the higher scores this season.
I get to beat you, so
Just like they didn't get any of their money. You don't get any either.
I get to beat you.
Yeah.
There you go. Sibling rivalry. That's why we like to have guests that know each other. There's always good chemistry, but there's always a little bit of rivalry.
Win a bracelet.
So. Hey,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, friendship bracelet.
How do I pull it?
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate you. Got to untie the knot.
No, there's like.
I appreciate you guys.
No, thank
Appreciate
you.
you guys joining us and
was fun.
making your serial chiller journey. We do this a lot, so if you guys ever want to come back and do it again,
I'm
we'll
always
definitely make it
down.
happen. Aiden is now a former champion, so he's gonna have to return.
You have to
All-Stars.
return.
Hit
We're gonna have to
All-Stars.
do a
Yeah.
rematch.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
We did have a tournament at the end of last season, so maybe we'll do something like that again.
Yeah.
Previous
Which one are you going
winners.
after?
Did you beat Danielle Page when you were on last time?
I think did we tie? I think we tied.
Oh, we would never do that. There was definitely an artistic challenge then.
I don't remember. I'll have to ask her. She
I don't
might-
either.
she might
I don't
remember.
either.
But
She
what-
probably
if
beat
she's
We'll have to
ever
look it up.
if she's ever back, we'll have to work something out.
We
so
could
she
have
can
3
come back on.
guests. You bring Danielle, Aiden, that'll just be an all-star of your guys'
Yeah.
little family group.
Down.
Sick.
All right. Well, Greg, anything you'd like to add here while you're untying that rat's nest of friendship bracelets?
Lonelyfanswith2z's.com
That's perfect.
if you're into like
e-
exploitation.
Everything is on serialchillerspod.com, you guys. Go check out our social medias. We're trying to be more active and fun there. Come join our Discord. We share all parts of our lives there, as do many other friends. Give to the show through the Patreon. You can do as little as $1 a month. That'll get you a shout out on the show, which is pretty cool, right? You go up more, the more you get. I think you get to a certain level. There's T-shirts and hoodies and trips to Disneyland and stickers and come out and support the show however you can. You can also give one-time donations. Everything is at serialchillerspod.com. Thank you guys for coming out. Lonely Fans with 2 Z's. Don't forget about it. One last chance. Paige, Aiden, Hella Greg.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Of course. Thank you guys. Well, then for Paige, for Aiden, and for Hella Greg, I'm Cromulent Jesse. And remember, don't talk to strangers. Okay, bye. Man, that ran long.